Futures basically flat here this morning to start things off as we're looking at massive IT outage from overnight affecting multiple different aspects of not only the market, but everyday travel life. Hopefully no one has a flight booked for today. If you do, call ahead, make sure you double check that it's still on time. Multiple airports with basically no flights leaving at this point, airlines included in that as well. Yeah, CrowdStrike, the main culprit here, also Microsoft, a lot of Microsoft's cloud network being affected here, but the two of them causing this outage, which, to be honest, there hasn't been much detail on as of yet, outside of the fact that they were doing an update overnight and something happened during that update that caused this massive outage. So yeah, airlines affected. I was even hearing around here this morning, some banking affected. TD apparently was, people were not able to access their accounts. So pretty interesting storyline here, but again, not much detail, which is kind of interesting.
No, I guess the good news is it's not a cybersecurity breach. It's as a result of an update gone bad. So the issue stemmed from a defect for the update of the cloud or the Falcon sensor product designed to protect against cybersecurity breaches. The problem's already been isolated. They deployed a fix. They're trying to roll back the update and try to fix that, but that's going to take hours. And we know that this happened before. Remember Microsoft, they had an issue with Azure. They had to drop the release. It took hours for this to get fixed.
The fact that so much of regular life is dependent on something like this is just crazy that it can go this wrong. But anyways, a few other things moving around here. Here's Netflix, positive 1.3% after the big move down. Initially on the number at 4 o'clock, comes all the way back to, and basically flat. We started the day basically flat from the close yesterday, but back to the upside here this morning off of, I mean, it was a mixed report, but we'll get into that a little bit more as the morning goes on. Tesla as well, I saw was moving, Tesla I also saw was moving back to the upside here, trying to test that pre-market high. We are just positive on the morning as of right now. There was a big downtick into the close yesterday, but no real significant news this morning on Tesla, but all eyes on. Yeah, I mean, if you had a flight book this morning, I feel for you because it's going to be a lot of delays, I feel, for Friday going into the weekend. But anyway, markets open, so lots to talk about. Good morning, guys.
Good morning. I mean, the stories you hear about the outage, like in India, people are getting like handwritten boarding passes, hotels in some places couldn't print key cards. Things like
That's right. Just write down first class.
Like, you know, can you imagine? I'll just cross it out.
There you go.
Like, yeah, I'm good to go.
There you go.
Why not? Why not? No.
FC.
We're lucky though. I mean, fortunately, like I have no issues. I heard the TD thing. The first thing I did was like go message my wife. I'm like, oh, everything. I didn't heard anything about people not accessing their accounts.
Everything all right with the account?
But my wife was kind of saying, and she did like a big data management course and cybersecurity recently program. And she's like, yeah, I wonder what's going to happen when North America starts coming online this morning. Most of the issues you've seen they've already sort of matriculated through their day, and this could take hours. So you're probably going to hear a little bit more about what's happening. Airlines here, maybe hotels, casinos, that kind of thing, and hopefully not banks. But you know what? We're here to trade. We're locked and loaded. The market's open. Volume looks pretty normal. Everything seems good to go here. Unless you are... Obviously, I mean, if you're a shareholder of CrowdStrike overnight, you're not happy, but it was down as much as 20% in the aftermarket and has sort of regained some support, which I think is, you know, maybe a good sign it held that 280 level. Microsoft, no longer the most valuable company in the world after that pushback. Apple, once again, they just kind of keep going back and forth. Netflix back to flat is a good look. It wasn't a bad report by Netflix, just one little revenue guide. And ARM with an upgrade. Wow. After everything that's happened to the chip names, ARM hits a huge level and then gets slapped an upgrade the following day. Do not forget, end of the day today, SMCI going into the NASDAQ 100. And coming out is Walgreens Boots Alliance, which I'm just looking to short pops on Walgreens today after what I saw the last couple of sessions on that stock.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I don't want to forget about Walgreens Boots Alliance, WBA, coming through. So, no, I mean, that should be a good little look there today. Yeah, I just, you know, this is CrowdStrike right now. I mean, we'll be talking about it. It does drop below 300. I highlighted this name yesterday when it was downgraded by somebody. It was on our upgrade and downgrade board, and I was like, I'm always looking to see about good names coming back in. Well, this came right into the right level. We even talked about this, 299. We talked about 300, but it's at 300 right now. It dipped into, I guess that wick didn't happen. This is pretty much the low of where we're at right now, 299, 298. So I think this is a buying opportunity, but I mean, I don't think you want to buy necessarily on day one. Let everything settle down. As we were saying, we don't know how long this is going to last for and what sort of the outside, like, what are the peripheral plays? Like, is this going to, are they going to lose accounts? Is this something where, you know, is Amazon having problems? Or like we said, is the stock market going to have a problem on open or something? Who knows? So not a hack, right? This is just something like a breach. There was something wrong with the data and the way it was secured, I guess. So 275. I guess we don't know enough about it being a hack or not. But where do we buy CrowdStrike? I mean, there's not too many good names back at the 200. And then Palo Alto. Again, this is the only name that I own, and been owning this name for a very, very long time. And part of this one is because of Kramer. I mean, I've been buying this name for 20 years, and this one could, you know, get the benefit here, right? And so up 3% as now, you know, you feel that maybe they'll be getting some more business from some of these plays. So. All right. Anyways, I like this play breaking through 345. I don't know if that happens today, but I think you can add to your position if that does happen. You bounced off the 50-period moving average, but then I wanted to also look to see when some of these names report, right? Because I feel like Palo Alto is always relatively early. Oh, August 15th, no, so late, and then CrowdStrike August 28th. So still a ways away for both of these names as far as earnings are concerned. But yeah, PanW shareholders pretty happy today, I guess.
All right, some of the weight loss stocks have been just wild this week. We'll have a look at a couple. Here's Eli Lilly, first off. Huge day down yesterday. We'll get into that in a sec. But you can see a decent move back higher here. It doesn't look like much when you compare it to yesterday, but a decent move back higher here. Back to 870 this morning. China giving full approval here for their weight loss drug over in that country. So huge market opening up.
I was just about to say that. That's a monster market that's going to open up there. So we saw these guys sell off earlier in the week. I'm talking about Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk as a result of Roche coming out with their oral weight loss drug. All these ones are injectable, so obviously the oral one preferred by the consumer. But this is massive here. The National Medical Products Administration out in China approving Eli Lilly's long-term weight loss medication. They already approved it, Brendo, back in May with respect to diabetes, but now it's being given the nod for weight loss.
Wide scale. If you zoom out a little bit, this is a weekly chart for Eli Lilly. Perspective is always key. Still, guys, maybe a little bit to go here to get into 800 even.
Yeah, that's kind of like the big level. What's crazy about it is the way the stock moved after it broke the 800. This is how you can tell when you have a key important level like this. It was just a consistent and strong glide up. Very few absurd days on the upside or the downside until we had this pullback. I don't know if you get to that 800. That's all guesswork. I mean, at this point, like, you're here to follow price action, and right now, like, you had the bad news and you bounced off 840, you're holding the 50-period moving average. So, I mean, if you're trading this, the first place you're going to look would be like this 855 to 860 area for current support. And if that breaks, then you start thinking about the 800. Don't know if this is going to be a day trade for us. If I was looking for one of, like, a name to day trade, it would probably be something along like the Pfizer where you can really trade it. Eli Lilly probably going to split at some point. I just don't know if it's going to be yet. And you pile on to what happened yesterday in Eli Lilly, the fact that lots of things were just pulling back in a general sense that had been rotated into and had a few days into the upside. So you want to look at some of these. We're talking about IWM had broken out, it was pulling back into prior resistance. And I look at Pfizer here, and I only bring it up because it's an obvious 29.5 resistance. It just did a huge reversal candle. I mean, if this can't keep 29.5, that could be right back into the 50 and 200 period, that previous level kind of key. And when you look at it on a 15-minute chart, I mean, it actually stands out a little bit more. It's like, oh, oop, over. If you lose that, you got the stair step back into the downside. So this is probably more tradable, Pfizer, but they both got shellacked yesterday. Not a good look at all for the XBI. XBI had its worst day in
Oh, did it?
I can't. I mean, I'm not going to count. I'd have to look back. But let's just say it was a really bad day. When Eli Lilly goes down that much, XBI's got no chance.
Yeah, I like that. I like that ETF. Try to buy some of that, I think, on weakness for sure. The name that we looked at a couple of days ago was BMY. And I never hear that much about this name anymore. And it started to break out a little bit here. So I kind of feel like when you see this big wick candle like that up there and then that rejection, I wonder if this is another name to possibly short. I mean, this has been in the doghouse for a while. It breaks above the 50-period moving average and then can't get above. I mean, maybe it will, but $46, I feel like you might have a good little spot right there to fade and see what happens on that top little pop there for Bristol Myers. So this was a name that we've been looking at, I don't know, just getting crushed. And I do like that XLV, XBI, things like that, some of the healthcare and biotech spaces. But yeah, for right now, Bristol Myers could be another one heading down to the short side. Probably fade this one off 46. So that's what I like right here for Bristol Myers off of a huge move. Almost went up 10% in 2 days there. So, yeah, fade these names back in. As you know, the Dow was huge, then it gave up yesterday. NASDAQ was nice, and then wound up red. So let's see what happens here on a Friday with low volume.
All right, a few earnings names to consider outside of Netflix as well. American Express, one of those, not really doing a heck of a lot, back downside. This thing's had a huge move. I saw it after the close yesterday, but this is a weekly chart of AXP, downside a little bit here this morning, but again, perspective key, I think.
The guide here was really ridiculous, Brendo. I mean, they didn't really increase the guide with respect to how much revenue they're going to make, but their profitability is just going through the roof. So look at the earnings per share EPS here. They were guiding $12.65 to $13.16 for the yearly EPS. They boosted that significantly, $13.30 to $13.80. It's really doing a lot better on credit losses than a lot of the other competitors, Brendo. Really keeping things tight here. So we'll keep an eye on this one. Revenue up big, though, year over year.
We're going to get Michael Noss joining us here in a few minutes. They are getting set to launch another test drive for Trade Ideas. So we'll get the details on that. You pay little amount, you get full access for a limited time. So Mr. Noss coming up here in a few minutes, guys.
We're just looking at American Express earnings right here.
Like, you look at these earnings.
My wife just told me about the
is it?
TD Bank is down.
It is down.
Yeah.
Okay, my wife hasn't responded yet. So
I do not.
That's not a good look. I mean, obviously, I'm fortunate not to. Like, that being said, I haven't tried to access my account, CIBC today. But as North America comes online, people might have other issues, and you can see more pressure maybe getting put on the CrowdStrike. We're just pointing out the wicks that you see on earnings releases for any name, and the liquidity is not great. And most people probably aren't going to try to mess around with AXP, but point be told, like, you get a number release and it breaks out a high. Look at the instant reversal, and just on no volume, it's back down. So it's not like there's any way that you're getting out of this reasonably. If you try to trade this thing in the pre-market, what you don't like, I heard a Sharif was talking about the mother of all reversal candles on Caterpillar yesterday. I think that's a bit overstated, but it did put a reversal candle. I think something similar here in AXP, and just yet another name that rallied a couple of days off of consolidation, accelerated, and maybe you're just fading right back into prior support. But I'll be looking for that type of a play in the usual places, maybe not on American Express. Just a great looking chart in a general sense, but bit of a reversal. Seems like you want to let it calm down, maybe get itself into the 50-period moving average or something along those lines. And just because I said it, this was the reversal candle, pull up the daily chart here on Caterpillar. If you look at that, gets right into resistance at 365, tries to break it out, and now pulling back in. So this could see the 50-period as well. You see that clean on a 15-minute. Like, there's the rally, complete and utter rejection of that high. If it doesn't hold 355, that's quite the gap underneath for Caterpillar.
Yeah, I mean, a bunch of good names. I wanted to look at the diamonds quickly because I feel like if we don't at least talk about the Dow Jones, this has been such a hot index. We talked about IWM, and I know Michael was talking about, at least on Monday, we can review some of those plays as well. Breakouts in IWM, this looks like to me, and a breakout possibly in the Dow Jones, right? I mean, this diamonds, DIA right there, taking out 400. I mean, I don't know if Michael, I've never talked about this with Michael or anybody really too much about this Dow move, but that was a nice breakout, man, from the March highs, faded it out in May, and then boom, took it out, and now you're coming back into these levels. So very similarly, not every market is built the same, you know? So like when you're looking at, this is not loading, but this is the IWM. Okay, there it is. So like, NASDAQ is fading out, right? But then if you've rotated into some gold, or you've rotated it into, digital gold, which is Bitcoin, you've got into energy names or whatever. This IWM, you're fine. You know, so there you go. And just what a difference some of these stocks will make. And here's going to be the NASDAQ in a second, just showing you sort of the value and the benefit of diversification, right? And I mean, that's what we always talk about. And Michael and I have, and all of us have talked on the show about different breadth in the market and equal weighted S&P, equal weighted NASDAQ. But again, is this really something to be that worried about? I mean, the Qs were just at 505. Now you're back down to 480. I mean, this level was here back July 5th. So
I'm petrified. I bought a shotgun.
Yeah, you should definitely buy shotguns and just go camping for a couple months because this could get nasty. No, I feel like we're fine.
We're finished.
Still above the 50-period moving average. We'll see if that can hold up. But for now, I like the NASDAQ, and I don't think it's too much to be worried about. But yeah, all right. So a couple good quality names there. I think you can start buying the Dow if you feel like you're too overweighted in technique.
You got the coordination going today. Like you see, it's the subtle thing. As I'm noticing, we're watching the program screen. You got the baby blue, but it's not just the baby blue because the wristband's got the baby blue.
Hockey Dad.
See?
Hockey Dad. So
and then then you got the collar's got the blue and it matches the other blue on the.
And then the I love you right there as well. So I have about 1,200 of these things at home. So
you know what? Actually, which is sad. Like I have this one green shirt, and my daughter made me a green one, and I usually only wear it to match because she likes the matches.
Right.
But I left it in my room and did not put it on. I'll have to remember.
I normally wear my baseball coaching one, but she made this yesterday.
Well, you got to wear that when you're coaching.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We have a game on Saturday. All right. It's Mr. Michael Noss. Let's go.
Yeah. All right, as mentioned, coming up in August, not only do you get to test drive trade ideas for 10 days, but another portfolio challenge coming through. Mr. Noss joining us, as I mentioned, for a rundown of some technicals on a Friday morning. Before we get into that, Michael Noss, there he is. How are you?
Here I am.
Give us the details here on this test drive coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're very excited to do, again, a test drive for us. Basically means that we let people in for a very small fee to knock around on the platform for a full 2 weeks. In that time, we are actually having a portfolio master challenge. These are challenges we put on periodically where you paper trade, and if you win, we send you money. So it's absolutely a fantastic way to make sure that you're either learning or trying new styles. We have a lot of traders. I usually interview the winners, and they're generally trying new styles and trying things out. We like to put guardrails to kind of push people outside their comfort zone. This time, you can see it's called AI in July. So all of the trades are going to come from our artificial intelligence. So everybody's going to be looking at that. You can fade it if you think it's wrong. You can go with it if you think it's right. You can trade it later in the day. All kinds of twists on it, but every trade is going to come from either an AI pick that was made that day or an AI pick that was made in the last couple weeks. So it gives you a really tight watch list to focus on, and I'm very interested to see what people do with that.
So first day coming up Wednesday next week, Thursday or Wednesday or Thursday?
Yeah, so the test drive, you can get going next week. When it comes to the challenge, we want to give people some time to learn the platform and make sure they're comfortable. And then, yes, the challenge happens on Wednesday there.
Fantastic. Something to look forward to for next week. All right, let's talk trend, because, there hasn't been any of those ever in the past 2 months.
I am super excited to talk about this indicator. We've been working on this internally for over a year now. And this is from friends of mine personally, and it's from the leader of the CMT, the dear leader, the CEO of the CMT, has been working on this as well. So this is an amazing indicator. I know I've got a lot of slides, but I'm going to go through them real quick and just try to teach you guys why I'm so excited about this indicator and why I think this is an amazing addition to Trade Ideas. And again, during this test drive, you can try this as well. So, right, we always talk about trend intraday. I'm going to look at daily charts, but you could be talking about 1 minute charts. You could be talking about monthly charts. It's all the same. So how do we define trend? So we're going to go through some ways some people are going to do it. So first, you could just slap on a moving average, right? It's a 50-day moving average. You could say, okay, well, when I took the screenshot, Apple's above the 50-day moving average. Well, that's good. But that's generally could not be enough. You could be in a nice uptrend for your time frame, but still under the 50-day moving average. So someone might put on another moving average on the next slide and say, okay, well, when the 50-day moving average crosses over the 200-day moving average, just on the next slide there, maybe that's one. Or you could use that indicator is the Donchian channels, which is just measuring highs and lows and saying, well, if that indicator is pointing up, then we're in an uptrend. But all of these things could occur, and you could see that a lot of these occurred while we were still under those moving averages. So we need to add another indicator. And now we'll add the MACD. And maybe when the MACD is pointing up, this is a very common one, maybe now we're in an uptrend. But, right, again, we started this uptrend before this MACD actually crossed the zero line. So, maybe I need some confirmation on that. So I'm going to put another indicator on. And this is an RSI. And I've talked about how if your RSI is failing to become oversold, then maybe now you're in an uptrend. So that happened, but we don't really know when to define the start of this RSI being oversold. So let's throw on another indicator. And now we have Bollinger Bands, very common. You see Bollinger Bands all the time. If we're in the top end of the Bollinger Bands, maybe that's an uptrend. Well, let's just throw in another indicator. So you get where I'm going here. And this is the ADX, and this also detects trend. Now, the problem with this, and we all have seen traders, and I have been one of these traders myself, and I'm sure we all have been at some point where we have all of these indicators on our screen to try to confirm whether or not the trend is good, whether or not this breakout is going to be successful. And what happens is when you have all these indicators, is you're in analysis paralysis. You can't really look at the price action, which is the most important thing, and look at where the levels are and where support and resistance is and what the candlestick patterns are, because you have all of this information overload. So what this indicator that we created, that we added to Trade Ideas, that was created by the guys over at Go No Go does, is it takes all of these indicators and just weights them based off of whether or not they're positive or negative. And if they are positive, then it's going to color the bars a little bit one way. And if they're negative, it's going to color them the next way. So this is the same chart of Apple with all of those indicators on there. And you'll see some colors. Let's actually just go right to the next slide here, where I talk about them. So instead of having all those indicators on and no longer being able to see price, what we're able to do with this Go No Go indicator is it does all of this math under the surface. So as the bars get more blue and darker blue, that is a stronger uptrend. More of these indicators are confirming this uptrend. If it's orange, it means there is no trend right now. It's probably good to stay out. And the darker pink, the darker purple they get on the way down, that shows us the opposite. It shows us that we're in a downtrend. And the thing I wanted to focus on is how much cleaner this chart looks, right? On Apple, for example, if you stayed away from Apple the whole time that the bars were saying this is a no-go trend, that we're in a downtrend, we're in neutral. When it flipped to blue, now you can start saying, okay, Apple is now in an uptrend. The weight of the evidence now shows me that Apple is now flipping this trend, and now I can start doing things like zooming down to lower time frames or looking at my levels or looking at support and resistance and then taking trades off of those. So it takes all of those indicators and it boils them down. So this is an interesting chart that I thought, with everything going on this morning, would be a good one to look at. This is HACK. So this is the cybersecurity ETF that's actually, funny enough, gapping up with everything going on in the world. And you can see how earlier on in the year, we're talking, November 2023 onwards, that nice blue area, if you were just hunting for uptrends in this cybersecurity ETF, you would have been rewarded, right? It's not just saying you buy it when it turns blue and then you sell it when it turns orange, but it's saying that is the area in which I'm going to look to buy uptrends because I know the trend is confirmed. It's confirmed by the indicator. Now I just need to look at my levels and take trades off of it. as we start to pull back in kind of the latter half of the year, you can see we start to flip colors. We start to go pink. It's not looking like a good uptrend anymore. And then just recently, right before this hack, we switched blue again. So this is one that I wanted to bring up because it's a good show of how this particular indicator, again, I'm super pumped for. You're going to see more of me talking about this because it's going to keep people on the right side of the trend, which we know is, if there is a holy grail to trading, that's it. And then more importantly, it keeps people out of the wrong side of the trends, keeps people out of buying downtrends. And then again, hack is just funny because of everything that's going on. Might be a good ETF to take a look at today if you want to trade that whole basket. So that's the go, no go indicator. You can find that on Trade Ideas right now, and you can try it out during this test drive. TraderTv20, the code to use. Coming up again, the competition portfolio competition next Wednesday with our good friends over at Trade Ideas. Mr. Noss, have a great weekend. We'll talk on Monday. Talk to you Monday. Have a good one.
Thank you very much there, Michael. Yeah, hack the ETF. Sometimes it's just low-hanging fruit for those. The top holding in that is actually Broadcom. I went to look it up. I'm like, okay, well, I was curious as to how much CrowdStrike was in it when I saw, see that it's going to be up. Obviously, like PanW's up today. Like it's CrowdStrike that's down, but like all the other names are up when you have this issue. But like Broadcom was the #1 holding. It's like 10% in hack. But that, like Apple, is a day trader, like anything. When you look at what happened to Apple when it made that break, I think the simple point would be, anything that gives you an extra reason to like something like that break is going to be a good thing. I think we're always looking at like stocks like this and saying, well, when this breaks, I want to get in. I got to get into it. Like something like I'm looking at a breakout in Nike potentially, although maybe not today because it's nowhere near the 74 level. And it was just Nike finally making a bottom and then going into a resistance, but it's not a strong trend. So you're always looking for a little bit of confluence. As a day trader, it's different from swing trading, because if you take a break out of a level like that, you just need it to go for like 20 minutes to half an hour and it works. You don't need to be strong for a few days. But certainly anything that gives you that extra confidence can be good. You identify those key levels first, the areas of interest, and then you look for those reasons for confidence. So as said, get a look at that new indicator. Try out that TraderTv20. I think anytime you get a test drive on something, all you can do, the worst that can happen is you can learn. I know, as I say here, I know I was looking at that 74 break on Nike, and I'm not feeling like it's going to be likely today. But next week, I'll have eyeballs on that. Maybe it's finally made a bottom. We'll see.
Yeah, I think it's worth hitting up, because the thing is, you also get Michael Noss. So I think on a test drive, you don't have to worry about that contest if you didn't want to. Test out the software, figure it all out, and if you like it, you like it. We use it here every single day. It's great for some scanners. We have that TraderTv20 as well. So I think it's worth it, and we wouldn't have Michael on all the time and keep showing you the scanners, because it does give us some trade opportunities. But you're already here, and we should be able to cover a lot of the names you're looking for as the day goes on. It's only 8:58 right now, a half hour till this market opens. Looks like the NASDAQ wants to hold above the 50 period and try to keep going long here. So yeah, I'm pretty excited to look to see what is on the upgrade and downgrade board.
Lots to talk about here, especially on the upgrade side, starting with ARM getting this Morgan Stanley upgrade here. They did upgrade to overweight with a price target from 107 to 190, citing their position in the AI or the edge AI space and some growth potential in their main market. So ARM, great look here. Meta getting an upgrade from Oppenheimer. We have Canada Goose being upgraded by Wedbush, and Infosys getting this upgrade from Macri following their earnings. We have DZ Bank here starting off the downgrades, downgrading PepsiCo with a 183 price target. Cintas, recent earnings name from yesterday, getting a downgrade from Robert W. Baird. Pentair getting a downgrade from North Coast. And last but not least, we have this Tenor Bank getting downgraded here by Gianni, guys.
Yeah, Meta after after that dip, obviously this has been a pretty strong stock. And usually when Meta dips like that, it's on earnings, right? And not just sort of randomly hitting a high, not randomly, but hitting the high and pulling back. But yeah, makes some sense. You're going to get an upgrade after value was put back into it. 480 looks pretty interesting today. I think that's not necessarily the most intriguing thing to comment on. You failed under you failed under $480 2 days ago. That's where the acceleration started at the open. You kind of got there yesterday, although not quite high 70s. you break out 480. There's a wide gap. This will be something for next week unless something stupid happens. This line is supposed to be up at like 505. But anyways, it's like a target zone. I think if Meta gets back into this target zone before earnings, like it's kind of more like 495 into 505, and I kind of just drew a stop in the middle. If it gets into that range, I think it's going to be a heck of a fade opportunity, but that's incredibly unlikely today. Like today, maybe you can break that 480, and if it's above 480 after the open, the opportunity to trend up, I think, is there. I just looked at Goose to see if it was doing anything on that upgrade, and not at all. So pullback yesterday into support for Goose. The good news for Canada Goose is 1185 seems to be something here for the stock, but 5,000 shares of volume. Yikes. Talk about nothing.
Rob is saying we should short Microsoft and CrowdStrike in our chat, so that's a good good call. Yeah, same look for me here on Meta. I put some little fancy emojis here. Look at this, breaking this 479. That's been that pre-market top. I wonder if we do take off there. Nice little upgrade. Nice base down here at 473. I mean, this just goes back into yesterday, so this is not like crazy amounts of detail. But then if you sort of put this back into a 10-minute chart. Free trial, nope. Right there, breaking through this 480. And I just wrote down, like, from Wednesday, this is when that 480 really started to bleed through. So once we didn't hold that, then it left. So we're all the way back now with an upgrade. I kind of like the breakout here for Meta, breaking through this 479. So that's a good little level. I think you want to wait for 480, especially if we get close enough to that on the open. But a 480 break should take us rocket ship land there for Meta. So I like that trade. I think it's something that will work out for us. Meta on the long. It's already up today. It's beating the market. It's a nice move. Barely up though, only up 0.3, but has a chance to go. Remember, 925, these imbalances are going to come out. So like if Meta comes out a buy, it's going to break that 480 anyways. So these are areas to look at today. I think if we're going to look long, I don't mind Meta, although Meta is an anti-Trump stock, remember. So you have to watch out for that one.
Breaking news from our friends at VinFast. They're building a state-of-the-art electric vehicle plant in Subang, Indonesia. With a $200 million investment, VinFast is creating thousands of jobs and bringing cutting-edge e-SUVs to the Indonesian market. Starting in 2025, the company will produce 50,000 vehicles annually, including popular models like the VF3, VF5, VF6, and VF7. VinFast is driving Indonesia's green transportation future. Join the company on their exciting journey towards a cleaner, more sustainable tomorrow. VinFast, electrifying Southeast Asia, one vehicle at a time. Let's get a look at the overall market here at 9 o'clock.
55.94, Brendo. That's where we closed out yesterday on the ES September contract. That was a breach of that support level that we were talking about at 56 1/3. So to the downside right now, let's look at that low that we put in yesterday, 55.75. It also jives with these two crests that we put in early and mid-June. To the high side, if we really start tracing back up, let's use that same support level that we used yesterday as resistance today, 56 1/3.
All right, if you haven't done so yet, make sure you go to the description of this video right now. Hit the link for the watch list, enter your email address, and then you get everything you need to know sent right to your inbox every single day. Absolutely free morning watch list from us to you. CrowdStrike, Microsoft, take your pick. Top of the list this morning, coming off this massive, unexpected overnight outage. Again, if you missed it, it's basically a software update. It sounds like that went horribly wrong. Anything from airlines through to the banking system in some cases affected by this. If you had a flight plan for today and you're just waking up, sorry, it might be delayed, but definitely call ahead and check.
Probably Pearson's having a great time right now. Like they'd never have delays over there without the already added issues. All right, so as Brendo mentioned, the defect stems from an update to CrowdStrike's Falcon sensor product, which is designed essentially to protect against cybersecurity breaches. CrowdStrike has identified the problem. They've isolated it. They've deployed a fix, and they're rolling back the update globally, which is the cause of this whole thing here. As Brendo mentioned, things like Allianz, Ryanair, Visa having issues. I'm hearing individuals in the chat saying the TD app is not working south of the border, so keep your eyes on this one. And I should mention, some of their competitors, Brendo, having a decent day today.
Upside, yeah, no kidding. 300, meanwhile, coming into play here for CRWD, 12% at this point. It was a heck of a lot more. Seems like a lot here, guys.
Yeah, I mean, it is always a different when it's not like necessarily a hack. This is a software rollout. This has happened in the past. Microsoft had an issue similar to this, so it probably recovers. I think today, if you were there early enough, obviously 280, where this thing bounced off of really like not late night, but early morning, would have been a good level. I think that's kind of the spot if I'm trading Crowd instead of the normal things that we trade this week. Not usually a name we even look at outside of earnings. If the relief rally somehow gets it up to, like the quarters, like some kind of a breakout where this is back to where it doesn't make sense to be trading flat, I think maybe you'd look for a fade. I'm more interested in Softy today because if this news hadn't happened at all, I'd be looking at Microsoft 441 anyways, like 440, 441 right in here. Like that was, like we basically did like a semi V-shaped recovery halfway down, like underneath resistance, and then right back into 441. So setting it really up that you've got this big level at 440 to 441. Well, I'm more going to look at Microsoft and CrowdStrike. Like I said, I've looked at CrowdStrike during earnings. I've probably never traded it. And today, I think it's not necessarily obvious. If there's some kind of big SSR trade at like a 300 level or a 290 level or a 280 where it's coming in and bounces off an even dollar every $10, that could make sense. But Softy at 440, 441, yesterday's close as a fade looks a little bit more likely of a trade for me than anything on CrowdStrike.
Yeah, I would think here on CrowdStrike, although obviously we don't trade it that often, there is down here on the 5-minute chart that I just scanned more on the pre-market here. We had lows here, 280, 287, things like that, that go back into this morning. So I'm thinking that those lows, why are they bought up down there? Hopefully there is some support. So again, when the story hits and we get the first negative reactions, it should have broke there again. So we should have broke this 285, 286 area, and we didn't. So I think a dip down into that area is one worth buying. So 100%, that's an area that's worth it. You give it $5 down to 280, you could get a whole retracement back up and make yourself 3 to 1, $15, maybe even $20 winner here on CrowdStrike today. So I would think that you're gonna have to stand in there and take it because it could fade out in the morning. But I like this 285 spot. I don't really see any reason why you don't trust that. Or you could take a level here, 290-ish. I mean, it's not really clean, but you could take a 290 holding against that as the bottom. But I think if it comes in, you probably want to look at that one more time. So I think a CrowdStrike down here at 285, 290 is worth a look. So for me, CRWD is that name. And then I'll leave Microsoft alone. There are other tech names here. The sticky note's been out now for a half hour, but there are other names out here that I like, and I did not put Microsoft on here. When there's uncertainty like this, I'd rather just stay away and play names that I'm a little more comfortable with.
CEO of CrowdStrike, you were just mentioning, I was reading, the CEO of CrowdStrike about to come on CNBC here, so we'll hear their side of the story. That's Netflix, meanwhile. Yeah, huge move down after the close yesterday. Goes all the way back to green in the aftermarket, and then we fade out again. When I sat down this morning, it was basically flat, but here we are now up better part of a full %. I mean, the subscriber number was just off the charts to the upside. You were just making a good point in that. Probably the last time we hear that from them.
Yeah, they've made that clear to us, Brendo, that we're not going to be getting the subs number much anymore because they're growing as a company, and now they're going to try to monetize as best as possible those subs. All right, let's talk about how they did, because they did quite well here with a few caveats. Revenue, $9.5 billion, 9.56, beating the 9.53. That's decidedly up year over year, 17%. Beautiful move there. Total memberships, as Brendo mentioned, beating that as well, 277 million versus a 274. Net income growing aggressively year over year, 2.15 billion versus the 1.45. That's a good look for them. Their ad-supported tier, where they make more money, 34% year over year growth. And building on that ad-supported tier comment, they're ending their relationship with Microsoft, which had been helping them monetize and bring in advertising. They're going to do it on their own.
So maybe Netflix is not down this morning.
No, they're not.
Their ads are still running at where they should be. But I think that's going to be the key metric maybe going forward, instead of focusing on the subs. what that ad revenue growth side is.
That's where the money's supposed to be, right? Like if all that money's got to go somewhere. I mean, linear TV dies, and that ad spend goes somewhere. It's not going to all go to all to Facebook and Google. Meta, I should say. It can't all go to Meta and Google. I mean, maybe it can, but Netflix has got to make some of that money. So the one thing that always or usually happens for Netflix earnings, whether it's big or small, is the day after. Sometimes the opening range just stays the opening range. I'm used to that happening. 640 was support before we came into this. You got the drop down. Now you're back above. The way I see it is if it's going to trade inside, maybe look for that to be something. But like on my radar today, I just have a few other names. Like the chips, like yesterday, you didn't read much of any, the last 2 days, not yesterday. The last 2 days, you didn't really read much of anything but a couple of chip names and then Tesla, like an EV name maybe. And then just really, that was all you had to have. And I feel the same way about today, but that 640 level, if there's a scalpable level and Netflix doesn't break out of the range post-earnings, which it tends to do sometimes, especially when this wasn't an outsized move even in the first place, nor in the second, bounced right off the obvious level at 600 there. So 600 support, which was easy to point out, and then 550, those are two easy levels. It bounced off the former. And if it holds on to $640, I think there might be some scalping on Netflix off that level. But my eyeballs are just going to stick with the chips and a little bit of Tesla, I think, today is a focus, with possibility of fading Walgreens. We'll see if Walgreens even lets me in.
Oh, yeah, Walgreens. Yeah, I like that trade better. So I will not be trading Netflix today whatsoever because it had an expected move of 9%. So its move is 1%. So that's a nice story. I'm not like, honestly, I don't have too much opinion on this. When we were sitting here and we saw this dip down in, we had talked about this yesterday. I said if you get to 580, which would be about that 8-9%, and then if you got a little bit lower, I thought it was well worth a buy. Like I still think first mover advantage. I really, really like Netflix coming through here. And yeah, for me, it's this 560, 550 area that I really, really like. So it has to get down there. I don't think that report does anything like that. You're not going to lose $80 for no reason now. So I would think it's a buy. So my thing here is, traders smarter than I have analyzed these numbers, and right now Netflix is up. So I'm thinking they like the name. Considering the market's been hit here recently, Netflix just pulling back and now trying to take back above the 50 period. I like this here at 660. I see we just got a super chat here, so let me figure this out. What's up, B. Davis? Sorry I missed the last 2 days. Whoops, don't put him in timeout. But this is the third time our boy Raider Trader has called the market. I'm talking about major moves. What did Raider Trader say? He comes on every second, third, Tuesday, Wednesday. We'll get that confirmed for you, but thank you, Mr. B. Davis. Yeah, I mean, that's why we have these guests on, over and over again. And the thing is this, the most important thing about any of the guests that we have on, and we talked about this with Michael, and I said this, I meant to, when he's on with me on Monday, I'll ask him about Reddit. We talked about this on Monday. It looked like it was breaking out. Then I said to Sharif, you never know what's going to happen here in the market, right? So it's like if Reddit takes off and we have a positive market this week, then Reddit's probably at $85 instead of $65. So sometimes, yeah, if you're playing swing names, you have to take in consideration what exactly is going on with the market. Raider Trader, from what I knew, we was talking about some XLE love. That's been really great here. I've been in XLE, buying some more of that name as well. So yeah, calling some of these names, the energy names. I know we talked about that, B. Davis, some of the banks as well. And then the overall market, yeah, nice little downside move. So yeah, we'll find out more. Probably Bears versus Bulls knows when Raider Trader is on. But we have guests throughout the week. So we'll double check that. It's every 2 weeks. I'll get back to you in the chat ASAP.
All right, let's go to ARM real quick for an upgrade from Morgan Stanley this morning. They raised their price target to $190 on ARM. So a nice move higher after the big flush out of the gate yesterday, 162 holding here.
Yeah, this is a good look here. Morgan analyst Lee Simpson bumping this one up to a buy and a price target of $190, basically saying ARM's strategic positioning as well as their growth potential in the edge AI market really gives them a decided advantage here. Their growth is expected to be driven by increased smartphone royalty revenue. They have two streams here, licensing and royalties. They're not the same thing. If you want to invest, you got to look that up. Emerging opportunities in the automotive sector as well, Brendo, and the growth obviously in AI PCs. We saw Microsoft release their new Surface Pro, which includes the ARM chip in it. So we'll have to keep an eye, see how they do.
Yeah. Elsewhere in semiconductor land, a little bit of weakness today. We are starting to climb back up, but I mean, NVIDIA was down more than 0.5% to start things off, back to just 0.16 right now.
NVIDIA. So I really like, so I'd rather talk about ARM as well. I mean, I have ARM and NVIDIA on my mind today, and ARM hasn't. I paid for short, so that's all good. We remembered that one yesterday. We did not, and we could have had
I did too. Nice.
Could have had an absolutely monster trade on ARM yesterday, but I did not have the shares. All right, so here's ARM, upgraded MS, but be cautious. The reason why I say this is this 160 long, it's on here. I haven't had it on the note for a while, but I thought upgrade, yep, this is the sticky note, yep. Upgraded, what did I say? Watch this. Oh, I matched the sticky note. Yeah, this is my shirt today, sponsored by Post-it Notes. Upgrade at Morgan Stanley, TMS, I thought that looked like, could get hit. So this is the thing, is I like the upgrade. Morgan Stanley has been horribly wrong on many upgrades. We've talked about their downgrade of Carvana at $5. So the thing about ARM is it's already up a lot, 2.3%. It has faded really nicely. So I feel like this is a great time to buy. It is a great upgrade. I think in all the mobile space, it's the right name in the right space, but is it the right time? So that's where I thought this 160 that I put down, yeah, I liked it because it was yesterday's top there right at the close where we closed at. But we opened yesterday at 165 and fell to 152. Like, I know yesterday was a completely different day, but was it? I mean, the market was just high like we were now, even higher, and faded out. So, I mean, that recipe could be in again here today despite the upgrade. So I feel like I really like this 160 level, but I don't love it. So it's on the sticky note so I can watch that trade. You know, yesterday's close is more in and around that 158. I feel like if you just want to take a couple shares, maybe 160, 50 shares, I don't know, 160 could be a spot. But then 158 is really something that I'd be looking at. So 160, let's see if ARM gets faded into that level. We do have these imbalances coming out. Volume is only 200,000, but it's holding upside. Nice upgrade today. And what I put in the note was, if the market rallies today, then you're going to look like a genius buying some ARM because it's going to go. It's just my faith right now in the market. The fact that we're under the 50-period moving average right now in the NASDAQ, it's not great. Like this top here, and I can just mark this line and we'll look back at this as we go for the day, but we'll have to watch out for this 19,950. Nice drop there and a nice hold for the last hour. So yeah, I like ARM here, but I'm a little more cautious overall now on the market. So I want to protect the longs rather than try to catch the knife as it comes into it.
Yeah, you got to be nimble when catching that, fast hands, that kind of thing.
Nimble,
you got to be careful with it. Look, the reason, we'll get to NVIDIA in a quick second, but ARM I like as well. And when I tweeted out today, I posted both daily chart and then the 15. The daily chart, just to show what happened yesterday, bit of a miss. This 150 level, resistance to support to that bounce for the almost V-shaped recovery, then gap up. So previous support, 161.5 approximately. You had a rejection of that yesterday. You didn't quite make the move all the way back in. You only closed at 158. So I got an over-under for ARM today. Like if it holds the open above 161.5, looking longs that I think can take you at least to 167. If it fails, if it's underneath, I don't want to touch it. I feel like that's a wide gap that it has underneath that. And it's just an upgrade. And then NVIDIA, it's a very similar look. Maybe we get 117 today. It's been 3 days now, well, 2 days, and now this is the third. 2 days in a row, double bottom 117. Your top has been that 122.5. So obviously 117 is, I think, where you got to be patient looking for any kind of a bid today on a falling knife on a Friday. But if we break out this 122.5 on NVIDIA, it's been a good short 2 days in a row off of this, where you're just shorting lower highs or shorting off the open. But if it breaks that 122.5, that's a gap fill to the upside, and that 127 comes in. I want to thank K-Dub in the chat for a couple of super chats in here. First one, when you mentioned the menu yesterday, I know you did, you weren't talking food, you were eating those coins on the banks in the end here. And then Walgreens, 39 cents. Hey. Good looking Walgreens. Going to talk about them a little bit later on here today. And then it's been a weird week. If you could only make one trade today, stock in the 20s or lower range with 3K leverage, what looks good? I actually don't have any, like none of the ideas I was looking at today are in that range of price. Like maybe Amara and Walgreens, I'm looking for fade because it's going out of the NASDAQ 100. Like the only stock that's priced in that range outside, like the only two that I'm looking at, both would be fade ideas. Like Mara, if it fails 24, if it fails that previous lower high, I'd be looking for a short. And then Rivian, just like a continuation. This will load up in a quick little second. And then Rivian, very similar thing. Like Rivian, and ideally, that 17.5 zone would be a fade, or pop and fade back into 17 as that's been trending down. So neither one of those would be classified as long ideas, but those are the only two stocks in that price range that I'm even looking at this week.
I just want to confirm we have, and I was right, it was Thursday, every other Thursday,
yes,
for Raider Trader. So thank you for the super chat, every other Thursday, and he was not here yesterday. Next Thursday, Raider Trader will be
locked
on.
and loaded.
And so if you have any questions, hey, you can even, Mr. B. Davis here, because of that super chat right now, just post something else if you want me to ask any sort of a question to Andrew. Maybe get that ready, and we'll get that loaded for next Thursday for you. So, all right, let's go back over to the desk. It's 9:21.
All right, Broadcom, we got that huge move into the close yesterday. It continued to rally after the close as well, up to 161. Pulling back in right now, but if you missed it, OpenAI in talks with Broadcom to develop a new AI chip.
Yeah, Brendo, they want to reduce their reliance on NVIDIA. Kind of unsurprising there. They want to actually engage with Broadcom for chip design and secure the necessary resources for their AI models. They had previously explored building a network of semiconductor factories to address this chip shortage, but we all know what that's like. Intel trying to do that, building out the fabs, is a tough endeavor here, Brendo, so we'll have to see how this one does.
A lot of other things to look at this morning. So volume not huge here yet on Broadcom, guys.
Yeah, it's not a lot. The one thing that makes some sense is Broadcom's going to be in cybersecurity ETFs. So any spike that you might see in those, you're going to get something on AVGO. In the obvious levels, I'm looking at ARM and NVIDIA today, mostly in the space. But Broadcom, 159 looks like an interesting level. You had some resistance and some pivot the last 2 days in here. And if I was trading the stock, that's probably the area I'd be looking for. But I've got ARM up, and I'm going to have NVIDIA up, and then like Meta, I already mentioned Mara, Rivian. You start to have a few too many names in there at the open if you're adding a Broadcom to it. So yeah, the 159 looks like a pretty good pivot. It broke out and continued off of that level yesterday. If it does dip down in, I think catching a falling knife on tech is tricky at the open the last little bit here. The drop and pop trade has not been the easiest one. You've really had to wait it out. But that would be the level I'd look for, if not just the bottom.
Yeah, so I didn't get to talk too much there about NVIDIA. Look, I mean, I like Broadcom. I think that's a name that at some point I want to get into. I really like the split. I like the way that's been acting. I wrote down NVIDIA here, 122.50 break long. So the way this name reacted yesterday, it closed it was up yesterday, right? Closed at its highs, closed at pre-market highs. And it really worked into the afternoon. So I just wonder that at some point when you come after the king, and it's going to be red today, as we said, are a little bit nervous about where this market's going to open and how it's going to trade in the first couple minutes. But I really like a break. And I wrote down 122.50 because that's pretty much the high there right off the open. So you did get yesterday a pop and then a fade against the pre-market. That's what got me into AMD. And Pat back here was like, hey, that was a great little snipe there on AMD that we had yesterday. And I think we can almost do the same kind of a trade here again today. So yesterday we had AMD rip up, and then we shorted this 163 on the push back down here for advanced micro devices, right? And we had that short, and it was great all day. But as you can see, AMD was not like NVIDIA. AMD closed not on its lows. I mean, nothing really did, but AMD didn't get close to anywhere back when NVIDIA did. So if I'm thinking today we have an opportunity to go long on something, it's one of my best ideas, I think, for the long. I mean, I had that ARM, which I'm not convinced of, but it's Palantir long, and I think NVIDIA as well. Would love to get dip buy opportunities. Let's let this one settle down. If we get a pop into 122 and then we do not take that 122.50, then I think it could also be a fade back through there. So I really want to see that level break right here, 122.50. If we do it, then I think you can go long and then use, you know, we'll talk about where at the bottom where we're going to get out, but probably 121.50, like at least giving NVIDIA $1. I mean, anything else I think is way too little. So we'll see regardless of your share size. All right, there goes NVIDIA right now, 120.50. They're coming to the downside. So the imbalances are now out. So there goes the NASDAQ. Look, man, I had the spidey senses were up. I mean, I was like, hey, I'm not sure what's going to happen here today, but it looked like we were underneath the 50 period. We were holding that. We already had these highs. So guess what? S is not just for Superman. It's for sale. And right now, NVIDIA, Apple for sale. Look at all the big names here for sale. They're all the big tech names. Apple just cranked down $1. Microsoft for sale, probably down $1 and change as well. Right there, Amazon for sale as well. We have one more story. I'm going to get to, I mean, a lot of people looking for plug. Right there, 180 downside. Google as well as sell. Intel is sell. All Tesla's a sell. So NASDAQ getting self-reweighted here into the open. There goes the NASDAQ. Man, oh my God, that's awesome. We did have that move. We did talk about that. So sirens up, man. We were thinking about a little bit. It's stuck, by the way, right now.
It's so awesome.
It's so awesome you can't see anything.
Get rid of it.
Those are stuck, Fabian. I don't know how to get rid of those.
Hit something else, maybe?
What did I do?
What
I
have
the
we
awesome
done?
Button. What do you mean, what did I do?
Yeah, I mean, we had a button that we usually
right
do.
there, so.
The only buy imbalance is ABEV and plug.
There we go.
Plug is one of the only buy imbalances on that indicator for a couple 100,000, which, by the way, we're going to right now, plug power. Oh, no, yes, maybe, to the desk?
Possibly.
Bear with us. One of those days.
Yeah, it's Friday too.
Graphics are not even participating at this point. Plug, I know, yeah, a few people looking at this one. $200 million offering announced after the close yesterday. I mean, you and I were just talking, like, the high on this, if you go back to 21, was $72 and change even. It's $250 this morning. What a round trip.
It's a tough look. I mean, hopefully maybe some lighter interest rate environment gives them a bit of a boost here. They're still a speculative asset with an unproven system. Here's a look. They're offering 78.7 million shares of common shares at $2.54 a piece. It's expected to close around July 22nd of this year. Underwriters have 30 days to add more shares. The gross proceeds expected to be around $200 million, Brendo. Morgan Stanley taking the lead on this one with Canaccord and Oppenheimer as co-brokers.
Yeah, I mean, 15% on top of $3 here after getting hit pretty hard into the close yesterday. Ugly, guys, for plug.
So down 15%, which means it's short sale restricted, and at least there's a triple bottom 10% down from here if it manages to get there. So if it gets down to 25% down, $2.20, there you can see it. So SSR bounce, maybe that level. That's probably about it for me. If it breaks that, maybe there's a $2 bounce play. Something along those lines is the way that you'll maybe get me on the bid of plug power. Sideways action for the last, like, look at the chart on plug for the last little bit. It's like 20 minutes of 3 cents and trying to break out. So not a heck of a lot of action. If it breaks down, it'll have to be that 220. And it was, I mean, I don't know if it's still there. I saw it as a small buy imbalance. I don't see it there anymore. As a lot of pairing has happened on some of these imbalances. Most of them are now gone. ASTI, the penny stock, is the only one over $1 million now. The plug was there a second ago. We just got to be focused on the movers. There was a bit of a bounce when those paired off. When those imbalances paired off, a bit of a bounce there in NVIDIA, so we'll keep our eyes on that. Mentioned Mara. Netflix is making a bit of a move to the upside, so it's actually breaking out now, Netflix. Yeah, that 640 bottom, maybe we don't get a chance to see that $640 bottom. So 2.5% now to the upside. after getting smoked at one point. Netflix was down 7 points. But breaking back in, we only have 1 minute to go. NVIDIA in play, ARM we already talked about. Apple we didn't really go over too much in depth, although I don't think Apple is at the front of my radar. It is still working to the downside. So when the things paired off, it looks like NVIDIA is the only one that popped. I see Tesla still falling. I see Apple still falling. NVIDIA getting a bit of a bounce going into the open. So we're locked and loaded. We're ready to go. We've got about 30 seconds until this open. And CrowdStrike, not to blame for our issues, but to blame for everybody else's. It's still hanging around under 300 bucks. Yikes.
Yeah, I mean, I still like that CrowdStrike in and around that 280. We'll see if we can get a chance to do that. Amazon, I mean, everything I've written down for shorts has already blasted through the level, so we just have a couple more minutes left, a couple more seconds left with exactly 10 right now on. See, you pushed the thing, right?
What did I do?
See,
I did. It's not working.
Yeah,
Adara in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and ring it. Ring it old school.
Yeah, a little bit of an old school ring right there. We'll wait to see what does happen here as the market's trying to make its moves. I'm already feeling a little bit of FOMO already, and it's already 9:30 because I am debating this AMD or NVIDIA, right here at 120. We did have that sell imbalance come out, so let's see if we do get a push back into 119 a little bit here. Thinking I like this level for NVIDIA, and might be worth a. Yeah, it might be worth a shot here. Let's try it. I mean, I'm going to try it against 119. If 119 fails right here, then so be it for NVIDIA. Let's try again. I just bought some more. If we're going to be right, let's try to be right here to start. So let's go. So we had just bought NVIDIA at 120.20, and we just bought a little bit more there at 49. So average price right now at 37. We're long NVIDIA, trying to give this one $1 back down to 119. Let's just see if it holds. I mean, the market right now looking to slip up a little bit. There it goes. So remember, we did have that NASDAQ imbalance. So a lot of this just going to figure itself out. Yeah, I can't remember what else was on there. I mean, everything was on there, but NVIDIA was the largest.
It was NVIDIA, Apple, and I mean, Google was there, but it wasn't one of the biggest ones for the imbalances. Okay, Mars trying to get through 24 for a pop and fade. It's not really moving that much. Kind of a lame move there, and a couple of names here. At the open, we're looking pop and fade on Rivian. Rivian's not going anywhere. Right back at those lows. What's ARM doing? Did ARM give the dip and rip?
All right.
Yeah, ARM is breaking through. Wow, okay. ARM is already breaking out a little bit here. Yeah, so ARM is going through the pre-market highs. I tried to get the dip into 161.50 when it came underneath, and the over-under was that price. Now it's $2 away. So the only thing going up is ARM with the market heading back in. So if you wanted to pop and fade shorts, like, you have to be very patient here because the market's still fading off of those imbalances to the downside. So let's see what we can find to get into. Tesla made a bounce off 246, so that might be in play at 250. Let's go see what Tesla's doing. That's getting some acceleration. Bouncing off 246 one more time. Obvious level here at 250 for Tesla.
All right, so yeah, and an obvious mistake here. We tried this, but again, we're not into too many shares here. We are going to looks like lose here. We're long at 119.85 for NVIDIA. Yeah, and here it comes. The move is too strong with this one, right down there to 119. So I mean, worth a shot. I feel like taking $1 hit, although never nice to do things like that. But you know, well, okay, we'll take a little bit out as it. Okay, I'll take a little bit out as it comes. All right, well now we're flat. I was gonna say taking $1 hit, you never like that. But we did take some pain out there at 119.50. Actually, it was 119.60. So now let's see if NVIDIA wants to go back up to the upside. We're turning our frown completely upside down right now and smiling. So there goes NVIDIA. We are now up on the stock. So hell yeah, on that one, a good little take there. Yes. So far, so good. Not awesome being nervous about the stock, but we did call that 119 area. What a difference that would have made for my net if we had just waited for that. But it's a big trade right now for NVIDIA. We're long now at 119.50 as this name's starting to get higher. Look, we're well up, man. We're well up. We've already got a nice little area here for us as far as the net is concerned, but we didn't trade this one properly. We could have held this all the way back up. But again, taking a little nervous Nancy hands there as we were wondering about the play, right? And so obviously take something out, and now we have 2/3 of this position left for a decent little win here. Let's see if NVIDIA wants to keep on going. There's that Meta trade that I talked about, but missed. Good trade.
Meta broke 480 there, but I didn't get the fill on the way up, but on the way back down, I just sort of bid out in front of 480, got 39s. It just tagged 481, 27 is the high, now 50 is the high. If it gets to 50s, if it gets to 85, that's an out. We'll show a daily chart or a 15-minute chart in a little bit, but I feel like I missed an easy opportunity at the open, which was just to short Walgreens at the open, because it's coming out of the index, the NASDAQ 100, and obviously you're going to see Walgreens just flushing to the downside.
Sir.
First available pop, I'm shorting Walgreens. That simple.
Yeah, I like that trade. I can't believe we forgot about that. We're $1 now in the money as well on this meta trade. We talked about that. We sort of drew that chart out there for you, and it was right here, and it was meta. Look at this. There's a little rocket ship. We talked about that one. There it is. It's a nice play. And there goes Meta. It is. I mean, look, we have $2 right now on these names. We have $1 on NVIDIA, and we have $1 on Meta. And there it goes. Hey, man, we've already got it. There it is. Our goal. We're up now. I said this yesterday at 9:36. I said, go to the damn beach. Well, if you want to go, you can. Right now, there's $1 in the money as the face slappers continue right there. What'd you say?
Huh?
Oh, Ramin. Yeah, I know. I wish, Ramin. I mean, who else would sit here? All right, 120.44 right now. Nice little move going to the upside. Meta right now, $2 in the money. NVIDIA, $1. It is one of those days, Neil, where we props it up. There it is. It works, man. We talked about that meta trade. We actually did some little cool emojis there. And then we talked about buying NVIDIA against 119. So there it goes again. What another day. It's 9:35. We like it.
Yeah, 9:35, and we've got the market coming. If the market stays green, Meta could see 490 today.
Oh, yeah.
But that's a big if. We're at overnight resistance levels.
That.
I think there's always a chance that we can still get a bit of a dip buy. Okay, Rivian's starting to come to the upside. I'm going to get my trail in on Meta, but let's go over to Rivian very quickly. I want to fade Rivian. I've said that there were two names I wanted to pop and fade. One of them was obviously Mara, actually three, because I wanted to get Walgreens Boots Alliance, but I might have just missed it. I missed it by 1 cent in there off the pre-market high. So I might move from 82 into the high 70s just to get in next time. So we're trying to short Rivian off of this close, 1690, and then back into 1650. Kind of a missed opportunity there, obviously, but we have to be patient. I'm not going to chase this one back into the downside. Thought we'd get over there quickly and be able to grab it. But nothing due on Rivian, and I'm not going to chase the move. It's not going to happen. The chop zone for Meta is right in here, like 483 to 485. And it feels like it's getting a little bit chopped up, 83 to 85. Damn it, Rivian.
All right. Yeah, I mean, it's been quite a good one here. We're going to wait. I mean, Rivian. NVIDIA right there having a hard time with VWAP. It did not break that 50 period moving average. So yeah, when we said we go to the beach, we were up a little bit more than we are right now. Meta, good out there taking the $1.50 or whatever that was, but it just stopped up there at 483. All right, what's up, Adara?
Netflix getting exciting here off earnings. NFLX currently trying to hold on to that 665. Did beat Q2 revenue and earnings per share estimates, but they guided lower than expected for Q3 revenue, though there was a nice beat as well for net paid addition. So NFLX on watch as it tries to pick a bit of a direction here. Currently up on the day, higher lows, guys.
Yeah, good day for Netflix. By the way, CrowdStrike is still heading to the downside. Like, it might retest those overnight bottoms. I understand some people that track from like 6 a.m. or 4 a.m. you'll have like 270 levels and all that good stuff. I'm not saying that didn't happen. My chart's going to start at 6 a.m., so that's what you're going to see for the overnight bottom. So I understand 270 is a level as well, but 280 is what we're seeing for a bit of a bottom. Plug, probably not going to get there. Rivian, I was able to get some in, and then first available pop, maybe this is it on Walgreens, so down 2%, but Walgreens with its first green candle of the day into VWAP. So this will be the first shot I take in Walgreens in front of VWAP in here. Coming out of the S&P, the NASDAQ 100, and going in is going to be SMCI, which we haven't looked at today.
All right, we are, we just took another one, so we got a little reloaded here on NVIDIA. We just bought some 73s down there on NVIDIA. I'll take something out if it gets back to O's. And by something, I mean like 5%. I'm just trying to scalp a little bit out. We talk about wanting to hold something when we put on a trade. I'm already looking at this 119 bottom. What? Oh, yeah, that's when it came back up. Right, I was going to say, we never got stopped out there. Right, that was us getting out of some. But all right, so here we go. Let's see if it now wants, okay, good. We just got O's there, as you saw. Obviously, it's blasting through right now. Oh, boy, as we go, man, we are now, Neil, $1, $2, $3 now in the money. I know you have this as well on Meta as it continues to go higher and higher and higher right now. There goes Meta, 484, baby. We talked about that 490. Let's see if that is right coming through. We're at the highest spot we've been at all day right now. Okay, good little reload there on NVIDIA. If you guys want real trading, I mean, I don't, it's kind of interesting that that's the name here. We have 2 trades on so far today. Both, one is $3 and one was started by, again, this nice little graphic right here. I'm going to use this emoji a little bit more as there's the blast off through 479. We talked about liking this trade, and there it goes. It's a nice one through 479. There goes Meta, and there goes NVIDIA. I mean, Meta is such a good trade. Now $3. Maybe we'll take a little bit out as we continue to get higher, but I like the trade there. We saw the strength yesterday. We talked about this. This should have been the #1 trade there on the sticky note, but it was a good break of that 479 and still working out. I'm actually up more money on NVIDIA though, but you know, let's not count our chickens too much here. Let's get some more out on NVIDIA as we just did right there. So again, 2 huge trades for the show here today to start off with. Thank you guys so much for watching. It means a lot.
Yeah, great look. Meta, an absolute moonshot. I just got out when it rocked that 84 back and forth, and I'm now into ARM, but we missed the dip buy. Obviously, it would have been a good one to dip buy into that 161.5, but it made the dip. We didn't get it, and then it made the breakout. So I wanted to be looking long if it held 161.5. So we take the breakout on that trade.
What do we even
I'm into Walgreens short. We're into Rivian to the short side. But obviously, we're a little bit late to the story on ARM. CrowdStrike is absolutely moonshotting at this point. So I guess you've already got your SSR bounce on Crowd. I would have liked it off an even dollar level, like the 280, but you're not going to get that at this point. So above 300, they pile right back into CrowdStrike. Good look for them. If you were going to buy that bid, it's a good company. It wasn't necessarily a security breach. For ARM, target 66. 165, probably 75 is what we'll try to get some out. And then you have 167 up top here, resistance for yesterday. If we get to that price, I want to be all out.
All right. I mean, Meta just touched 485, putting that $5. I mean, I'm thinking that we're getting pretty close right now, but we still have that 490 in our sights anyways. So here it is. Nice little upside move. I mean, that right there, this little gap fill that happened overnight, that's 485. So then up to there, yeah, that's 490. I think we can get it, man. So I'm going to put an offer right now in case Meta really does blow up. And look, if this all comes back down, it all comes back down. Right now, you know, we might be good enough right here. And we talk about lifting up trophies. We could get out right now and probably hold it, but we wanted to get a little bit more for this. Okay, yes, finally, guys, we finally did it. We said that we would hold something, and I'm pretty happy to do this, where we go top to bottom right there. We just had a 200. Look, I'm going to still hold on, see if we can get a little bit higher. These could all fade out. I mean, I don't know if the NASDAQ is going to make those highs. It might have been a great call there at that 485 for Meta right now. So I don't know. I kind of want to put it there to get out, but then if it runs through it, all right, hit that like, hit that subscribe. Let's get going right now. Just 2 trades for me today. NVIDIA, and again, as discussed, right? It's not like these are trades that we weren't looking at. We just managed to have them. Meta was going to be a top play for us. It is a top play. And then NVIDIA was buying the dips, and we talked about that. I said I was getting FOMO with NVIDIA, and I shouldn't have. We should have just waited for that play. There it goes, man. All right, this has been a good day. So again, thank you for watching. Make sure you do hit that like and subscribe. Keep this show going strong. So NVIDIA right now, $2 on Meta, $1.50 on NVDA.
Yeah, my FOMO was going to be, it's going to be Walgreens. Obviously, that fade at the open, pretty distinct in there. First available pop, we got the short now off of VWAP, and we're also short in Rivian as the market just backed off the highs. So Rivian is right here with your close, 1690. It just backed off at 85, so we grabbed a little bit more. Gonna have the bid down at VWAP. If we get to the low of the day, that's 1640. Even I see you, Palantir, Johnny C in the chat. But I think if we're in Rivian short, got to acknowledge Tesla and $264 on Tesla. Sorry, 246, I should say. 246, brick wall, 3 days in a row. If Tesla is going to hold this level, I think you'll see that 250 break at some point. So the wick just came down 245. That's a 15-minute. And if we're going to hold on to this higher low, Tesla has a chance to run. If it breaks the bottom, I'm probably just going to immediately add to my short in Rivian if we get a good price. We're still in the mid-70s. So eyeballs on Tesla as it's trying to hold on to this 246. 3-day support. If it holds on here, I think you can get a bounce right back into VWAP. So that's going to be the look here for me on TSLA. Hold it. Some buyers just came in. Let's see if they psych me into it. 245.74. You can kind of see this lower high in here. If it's going to hold on to that lower high, play back into VWAP is going to be the name of the game for me on TSLA. So we got ourselves locked and loaded here. We're against the grain. It could not hold on, so we just jumped out of it. That does mean I'm going to add to Rivian short. So I wanted this bounce. It had to be clean and not make it to that bottom, because overall, that was one of the things I wanted to pop and fade. So I'll pop you back over to Rivian, have the level 2 over here, and all I see is weakness and holding out at VWAP. So we're going to add to it, giving it to 16.9, looking for the low of the day here at 16.40. Walgreens Boots Alliance, WBA. I think I might just be doing this all day long, where every single fade, we're going to take it and then try to get out in front of the low. 11.10, 11.05, probably every 5 cents, we're going to try to take some profit on WBA. And the other side of that coin is going to be SMCI. And SMCI is going into the index, and you're seeing it power to the upside. It's not so obvious that this is just going to go up all day long, but I'm not going to be fading this name. I'm not going to be buying dips. I think it's easier to fade on the one that is weak, and the one that is weak clearly is WBA. Netflix is sinking as well. Meta, I do want to find a way back into it. I'm on the bid for a VWAP dip after that little rejection. If we can catch a dip into VWAP, we'll rejoin the trend to the upside. Adara?
This part of the show brought to you by VinFast. Breaking news from VinFast. They're building a state-of-the-art electric vehicle plant in Sabang, Indonesia. With a $200 million investment, VinFast is creating thousands of jobs and bringing cutting-edge e-SUVs to the Indonesian market. Starting in 2025, we'll produce 50,000 vehicles annually, including popular models like the VF3, VF5, VF6, and VF7. VinFast is driving Indonesia's green transportation future. Join us on this exciting journey towards a cleaner, more sustainable tomorrow. VinFast, electrifying Southeast Asia, one vehicle at a time.
Thank you very much there, Adara. Looks to me like I was just hearing in my ear, pins, didn't catch the news, but pins with a huge move to the downside as that was flying like a buck up, buck down very, very quickly. But let's get on over to a couple of other things. Like we said, Rivian, VWAP, it just tagged it. I'm going to be looking to add underneath VWAP if I can. Thanks, Sean. I guess we didn't get that delivery after all for the coffee there, but
No, Rob's
fine.
going to London.
What? Oh,
Rob's not here.
Oh, he's not here. Okay, we asked Rob. Hey, good for him. He's going to London. I know you're going as well. Yeah. That's a company trip. I thought he was here. That's why I was asking for a coffee. But shout out to Rob. Oh, there goes Tesla. Yeah. Clean through 246. Oh, this is getting nasty on Tesla. I added to Rivian, and I feel like maybe we should just find a short under 246 in Tesla, as that one is absolutely going to the downside. Pins is falling. I just haven't heard the news story clearly. As I've been talking. I can't hear Benzinga very well when I'm talking in my own ear, but at the end of the day, pins going to the downside. I'm going to try and join Tesla underneath that support level. If it can't hold, it can't hold. And we just got to find ourselves into the short.
Pinterest is in a death spiral, someone's just said.
No, but I heard something, but I didn't actually catch it.
I don't know what it is, but there it is. Pinterest. I've never really liked this stock, but I mean, down 1.7% doesn't seem like it's that bad. So yeah, let's pay attention to that one.
I had this as a pandemic buy one.
Yeah. I think it's like Etsy. All right, so 485 came in again, but 484 came in, not 485. So we did have a level there to come through. So 484, 485 coming through on Meta. Again, I still think it's worth holding. Let's just check out what's been going on the names that we've written down. PLTR, we wrote this one down on our watch list here today to buy some dips again for Palantir. That's not enough for me to buy that, so we'll have to wait to see. You know, we've seen Palantir really get rocked off some of these levels, but right now it is starting to head down and it is red on the day. So I'm still waiting for that 27.75 area, a level that we've been buying up on Palantir for the last couple of days with huge success. So hopefully not hopefully it comes down there, but that's where we want to buy it if and when it does. Yeah, Tesla. And then the other trade that I wanted to do here was ARM breaking that 160 level, or sorry, coming back into 160. We did not do that yet. So this could be another little bottom pick there if and when it comes through, Adara.
More details on that Pinterest move. We did get a short report coming in from Grizzly Research saying that they believe the company is, quote, in a death spiral and actively misleading and doctoring its, quote, terrible performance statistics. So PINS to the downside. They also do have earnings coming up the week after next. So Pinterest on watch here with this short report, guys.
That's not even moving that much. To be honest, it just bounced off $40 here. Like usually short seller report, I'm expecting to see some like double digits or some crazy nonsense, but yeah, it doesn't seem like that's all that crazy to me. So 45 just came in here on Tesla. That's now down 1.5%. I think that, look, the 46 level was the big break. If I show you a 15-minute chart, which we've done a couple of times, I think that's the line in the sand for Tesla. I don't know what the bottom is going to be on this name, but we'll go over to it when we can. If it breaks 46, I think you wait for VWAP in there. So that's moving to the downside. Pins still, if it breaks 40, you got to feel like that would get nasty if it breaks 40, but it's actually bouncing and threatening to take out the pre-market highs, which is a bit weird. So I'm calling that a nothing burger unless it breaks yesterday's low. Short seller report, you want to actually be doing something.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's doing too much right here. We're just resting on our laurels right here. I mean, we've got NVIDIA trying to go back up to the highs. I mean, imagine what's going to happen here if this market actually starts to go. I mean, we're still flat. We're underneath the 50-period moving average, and we're already $3 in the money on Meta right now, looking to get higher. I don't even have any offers for this name. And then NVIDIA as well, no offers. So I don't have any offers anywhere here. So we're going to have to wait for it. We did mark down that Tesla was a short earlier today. That's right on here. We have Amazon short, Tesla short. That's it. Our longs were NVIDIA and Palantir and ARM. So Tesla short was obviously cash. And then remember when we talked about CrowdStrike and we said that, okay, this 280, 285 area down there would have been something. It doesn't get that low. It only gets to 290. But that was it, man. Now CrowdStrike straight up. I was thinking about buying some of this. Didn't do it, but CrowdStrike, nice little move. Oh, my. Oh, wow. Okay, now it's Moon City, man. Just watch out. I'm not even looking short right now. We have monster trades. It's $4 in the money. Shout out to Hydration Nation right now. We're actually up a lot more, though, on NVIDIA as that goes through 120, 150. Adara, give us.
This part of the show brought to you by Benzinga Pro. Tired of being late to the trade, always playing catch up in the market, missing out on the big moves because you're too slow to the news? Benzinga Pro is your unfair advantage. Get breaking news alerts up to 30 minutes before everyone else. Pinpoint exactly why stocks are moving and join a thriving community of traders who share their strategies in real time. Ready to see how Benzinga Pro can transform your trading? Visit benzinga.com/pro and get a free 14-day trial. Also worth noting, we have another short report and watch here. This one about NNE, nanonuclear energy. This report here called Fission Impossible, basically saying that there's issues with revenue, their executives, and their $600 million market cap here for NNE. Continuing to sell off here. Bit of a volume spike as well, guys.
And NE making some moves. I still have my break order set for NVIDIA 122.50. It might come into play here in the next dollar or so. We're still chilling out with our over/under on ARM. I didn't get any reload here off the bottom. There's a break at the top with our stop at the 161.50 support. I got the offer in front of 166, so it's still kind of an inside range. At some point, like this thing's either got to move or not move. Tesla doesn't write the title. Oh yeah, Fission Impossible. I like that one there, Jason, for the NNE. Tesla does not hold underneath 465, so we took the short under 445, looking for the flat bottom break on Tesla. If it gets back underneath, I'm probably still looking for the short. I think that's way too big of a gap to fill, but now we just got to wait for 250. Either we're breaking down under 46, or we're breaking above 50, or shorting the 50 level. So got to wait for the key level that was under here, at here, or up there on Tesla. Still in Walgreens and Rivian, that hasn't changed. And NVIDIA, as I said, it hasn't broken out yet, but it's still that 122.50 that we're looking for the breakout on. So I haven't really pivoted away from that name. If we do, it's probably because this is still staying in inside range and we have to go back over to something else.
All right, market still flat. We're up more today already than we were yesterday. We only have 2 names and 2 trades, and we've been getting it out. So the only thing that we haven't been getting out is Meta. And unfortunately, Meta's right here. I'm going to wave the flag a little bit here and get something out if we can get above this 484.50 area. So I think that would be something. If we can make one more run up there. I mean, I don't know. I was saying that there could be some light volume today, obviously, in the market. We want to really make sure that we can try to pick some of the poison out here and properly trade it. We did, and I told you, bless you, we were up so much on NVIDIA, and we had so many shares that it's a little different story. I have more shares on NVIDIA than I do. This is a $120 name, as opposed to Meta, which is a $500 name. So more shares on NVIDIA, giving me the opportunity to just scalp it out more. So when we got up to 120, 150, it was kind of an easy play there for me to get that out. So let's see. We will take another piece out on Meta. We just want to be right. You know, like this first take right there, what we're long at 01, we're long at ones, right? And then that out right there is 82.40s. So about $1.40 there. And if we don't have a takeout up here and it comes all the way back and then we maybe even break VWAP, it's not a good look. We definitely want to make sure that we take some kind of profit, but I'm going to still give it a go and see if it can come back to that upside right now. Might not be. And I do want to just also be able to think about where are we going to get out, because my out was going to be down, breaking some of these levels down here. 480 was now the 50-period moving average. I was looking at like a 478 or so break. I don't even have a stop in because it just went all the way up. So I'm trying to figure that out now as we speak. So yeah, 480 is the 50-period moving average. I think that's something that maybe we can reload and then look at a 478 break to the downside. So, you know, if we're going to try to hold this, we already hold this $4 in the money and didn't take it out. We don't want to hold the $4 against us, but let's just see what happens here with Meta, especially if this market continues to hold fort here. I mean, I don't know what it's going to do. We don't have any economic numbers, I don't believe, today. So, yeah, and I'm not really too nervous about that.
It's only Fed speak today. There's no economic data. It's a lazy Friday when it comes to that. So Pinterest is oddly going to break out. So the literal opposite of what I guess the short seller was hoping for in that moment, but maybe they're just getting out when they realize it's not breaking lower. I feel like that's probably the case. NVIDIA, no breakout. Another pullback into VWAP here. I'm just going to be sitting VWAP more or less most of the day here on Walgreens. Not much happening. NVIDIA, I guess if you had shorted that 121, whatever, that wasn't part of the plan. It was that 122.50. But if you shorted the pre-market high, that would have worked, like today's pre-market high, that actually would have worked. I just still see an upward trend on this stock. And if we're not going to get the break, then I got to look. I was looking for 117 on the dip buy because it's a Friday, and why not pick the bottom? But looks like it's just going to be higher lows for NVIDIA. If it bounces VWAP, maybe we'll just take that. But I'm not giving up that we're just going to make the break at 122.5. At some point, you just got to get that move.
Oh, man. All right. Well, missed opportunities, obviously, on CrowdStrike as that continues to go higher and higher, right? I mean, that's 310, 3 and change. I mean, I just wish we would have looked at that. But I said, you know what? I wasn't sure if it was going to be going down or not on even lower than it was. But we had looked at that 285 level there, and it bounced off and it got to 290. Nice move there for CrowdStrike as it continues to make a move higher. So BTC, man, what a big move that is happening right now, 65 and change. We can go back over and check out Mara and see what's going on with this name. As BTC continues to climb, we can also look at iBit. So again, my offers right now, if you're just looking to say, hey, this guy, we have these positions and they're not getting in and they're not getting out. And that's because, yeah, we talked about that. I want to try to make money. And honestly, it's like we've already done well. We could log out right now, and I guarantee you'll be happy with this net at the end of the day. But the thing, like we're up more now than we average on a day. So it's just, I want to see if we can get this break higher. If we can get above this 484.50, then we'll do that. You know, but I am talking like this because, again, I am very, very specific on, you know, let's make sure we have the right trades, we have the right spots, and we take them out when we see fit. On that note, we're out of the majority of our NVIDIA. We probably have about 20% left or so of this trade. So most of this is out. And we're just going to try to wait to see if we get that break. We had noted as well, obviously on here, we wrote down on the sticky note 122.50 as a possible level there for NVIDIA. So kind of want to wait for that. The Meta one's giving me some kind of feels because it's not going and it just keeps on bouncing, and Meta should not be in a 20-cent range, although it is. Look at IBIT, man. Crypto really saving the day today, up to 37 right now for IBIT as that just keeps on spitting higher. ARM probably missed opportunity, but hey, it's still at 162 as well. This is that Meta trade I'm talking about. Look what Meta's doing. It's doing nothing. So this is putting me for a little bit of a pause for concern. 184.10. I think we're going to have to switch. I mean, we sniffed, or 184, 484.10. I feel like we sniffed out that this could be a possible problem here. So would feel silly if we're unable to take too much advantage of this on Meta. So yeah, might fall back in.
Before we go,
that's what we're doing. Yeah, are we supposed to?
NVIDIA, I think I heard something from the desk, but before we get there, in a quick little second, NVIDIA bounced VWAP once. If it bounces VWAP twice, we're looking for a pushback into the pre-market high. If it loses VWAP, then obviously you could retest that bottom. So that's what we're in. The newest one said we go for a dip buy. It doesn't negate the fact that I would much prefer that breakout of the 117 level. If we get the breakout, that's still 122.50. I'm only holding it a VWAP. Like that's a VWAP retrace. That's just like a secondary plan. The plan was to break it out or trade 117, and we haven't got either one of those. ARM was the one, and again, why 117? That's why. Double bottom yesterday. If we flush, I feel like if it goes 3 days in a row, that's what we want. ARM goes for the break. Doesn't hold the 161.50. So that was a very technical style trade, like just break out here, get to there. They had $3 upside, you had $2.50 downside. And then if it broke that top, hold on to some for like the 70s, but it's not gonna happen for ARM. So we're now only in the first thing I said I would be in at the end of the day yesterday, which was shorting Walgreens. But the mistake, and why I'm gonna call this a fail, was this really just should have been a short from the open, or maybe when we just sat down. Coming out of that S&P 100, all it's done is go to the downside, and I'm shorting VWAP in here as every single time it's gotten to VWAP, you're seeing that curl. If it breaks this trend, get out and look for something else, which will still probably be short, but it might just be a resistance level that gets put in. So we're still in Walgreens. I anticipate I could be in that stock all day.
Did you say there was a call for a dare? I have no idea.
But then they didn't say
happening now.
Market pretty flat today, both the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ chopping and trending there, but more or less flat as of right now for the markets here. We don't have any economic data today. We have two Fed speakers, Fed's Williams, coming through in about 40 minutes at 10:40. Then at 1 p.m., we'll get comments from Fed's Bostic as well. Of course, lots of moves in some of these major tech names, but some pretty catalyst-driven stuff as well, and some earnings plays to talk about, including Netflix, NFLX. This one popped up 5% all the way to that 675 area before coming back down to 640. They did beat for EPS and revenue, but their guidance was a bit more mixed. So NFLX here right now to the downside. AXP, American Express, was another name that reported this morning. We also have a lot of names reacting to this CrowdStrike related update. So CRWD had an update where there was a system outage, which will also impacted Microsoft's cloud. So MSFT and CRWD moving to the downside. Some of these cybersecurity names like SPCE and W getting a bit of an upsized move. So this story definitely containing some catalysts for different stocks here, guys.
Crowd is still looking very, very bullish. Like it's trend up. You've got a very, very clean upward trend in there. Maybe you get something like a VWAP press in. Usually taking an SSR bounce into VWAP, well, maybe you take it one in the other direction. So here's a quick little trend on Meta. It's holding on to VWAP every single time. That's 441 in there. We'll see if we can grab something on the high of the day. I got out when it failed right up here at like 484 on a pullback trade. Now we're going to go for the dip buy. Tesla is absolutely tanking. Might take a secondary shot at Rivian. And again, as long as you trend up from this break in Meta until you get to like there, 486, 487, I still think you got plenty of room to run. The market is looking a little bit weak in here. And if that's going to be the case, we're still underneath 17 on Rivian. Rivian just wicked out yesterday's high, but then came right back underneath it. So yesterday's close. Yesterday's close, 1690. right back underneath. If I get wicked out and I still like it, then we jump right back in the trade.
All right, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Oh, I thought you were talking about ARM right there. All right, so I know you were in and out of ARM. I'm looking for ARM now. ARM came into 161. So let's see if we can get something. I'm still bidding down here. The spread is quite large on this name, especially when it does open up. But this is a level that I liked. I wanted it. So let's see if the market does come in here a little bit. We'll see what's going on there with ARM. Obviously, Neil just talked about going long there, Meta around that 482 area, where I'm going to try to go a little bit more in here into 480 or so. So we'll wait to see if that comes in. But it is a nice little VWAP dip retrace buy. I went over and I just said, you know what? I mean, I kind of like NVIDIA down here. You know, I still think that there's this chance of 119. If 119 breaks, we're going to have to get out. This is, I see in the chat there, this is what trading is about, man. I mean, it's like you got to put on trades and see if some levels hold. I mean, it's 10 o'clock right now. I don't necessarily think that this is like the be-all, end-all. You have to be in every trade at every time. You don't. But maybe there's a move coming. It's 10 o'clock. We've already gotten out of, it's a very positive day for me here, but we have been getting some names back in. For around here, it's very similar to what you're seeing. We got about like half, most of the traders behind us have done quite well today, but it has been an up and down day depending on, which way you've gone and what some of your names are. And that's, again, what trading is all about, right? It's about picking your stocks and picking your levels. So I picked mine with NVIDIA and Meta, and we know those levels, so we're going to try to work with them, buying more 119s if possible. Palantir, again, positive stock one more time today. Like, this name has been so fantastic. Up against a red market. Palantir looks like it wants to continue to win. So we'll just have to not look for such amazing dip buy opportunities and just take the opportunities that present themselves. Because right there, yesterday's afternoon at 3 o'clock for Palantir was 28.25. That's the low of the day today. So yeah, I mean, this seems like it's a very, very good trade right there for PLTR. So Meta, nice move upside there for Meta. So looks like they're holding out. That VWAP was a good look there, Neil.
Yeah, unfortunately, Rivian is not looking good. That might make a run at the high. About to get out of Rivian again. And I missed VWAP on Walgreens here. I think you just have to sit on it all day long. You can't put the order in after. I've got to be sitting there and just get picked up, right? It's $11 stock. That's going to be the spread. So this was Rivian. We got wicked out, jumped right back in underneath. It's pressing back toward the high. So that's going to be the concern here, that this one starts to race on us to the upside. It's doing the opposite of Tesla. Tesla's at the low of the day. Rivian's at the high. I can't ignore the relative strength over there in Rivian at this point. Intel is dying and down at 33.30. So alert just got hit because 33.30, load, 33.30 is essentially the bottom. There you go. This is the bottom of this move. So I did not think there was any chance we were getting to this level here today, but there's 33.30, there's 33.30. It just wicked it underneath. This would be the only potential area for dip buy here. The market is only flat. Intel's down 4.5 points out of nowhere.
Ooh. Oh, man. And this is what I'm saying. It depends on what you're trading, There goes NVIDIA. So NVIDIA trying to go back up. We just took some out here at 30. We were just reloading. We just took some out at 40s. We were just reloading this thing down here at 120 flat. So it's 40 more cents in our pocket right here. As we start to go back up, man, what a hold on Meta. We had talked about that right there. Could have bought it. We were waiting for a little bit lower. That went to 480.70. Are you kidding me? Oh man, we're not there. We're at 480.20s, but that was a nice push back in there. So you're not going to be able to get this smile off this guy's face, because today it's 2 for 2 and it's 2 for 2 and it's 2 for 2 big boy trades, right? I mean, that's what you're going to try to do. Get that kicking here again. Give you trades. Try to show you. And again, it's about making that money. I can look at many different names, and if they set up, I'll take them. Trust me. And this is what I said to Adair the other day. It's like, you can't just say, all right, I'm in this trade, I'm just going to let it cook. Well, I mean, that is what we're doing. And right now, it is James cooking, Neil. Big shout out to your RB11 there on the Buffalo Bills. But here we go. It is starting to go up to the upside right now. Forget about fantasy football, man. We're paying for tuition fees for months and months and years right now as you continue to go to the upside right now. It's a $3 winner right now for Meta as that comes right back up. And guess what? We're sitting here right now. Just break through 484 and we will get that fill there on Meta. That was a great hold. NVIDIA trying to go back upside. I don't know if this one's going to work, but we got to give it some time. I think this one can. The other name that we had on here was Amazon. Wait for 186. Let me see what Amazon's doing right now. Okay, so Amazon's hot fire right now. A nice little move to the upside. We wanted to short. Here's the 50-period moving average for Amazon, 185. Could be a short. We are waiting up here. Let's see if that can hit. Amazon looking for a short on that one. Wow, I mean, what a great bunch of trades today. ARM. We were just trying to get long. Where is that now? Oh, no. We were pennies away. We were 30 cents away from getting ARM. And it didn't come in, right? We're bidding 160.50 right here. It went to 160.70. So Bitcoin ramping up, ARM ramping up. We are at the highest spot we've been at all day. And there we go. Also on the reload, man. Wow. Oh, man. I'm off next Friday, by the way. So we'll be here until all next week, off next Friday, as we have another tournament. 2 games, one at 11:30, one at 4:30. Then we have another game Saturday morning. Then we have the semifinals Saturday evening. Then the finals Sunday morning.
Busy. That's what it's got to be.
Always busy, man.
But you got to stay busy. That's what's important in life. So I'm going to change from the breakout pre-market low style trade to the scalp trade on ARM. Thought it'd be like an explosive day on ARM where it's just going to fly to the upside, but you're seeing an inside day. So the bottom is holding that 161. I said over under on that price. Well, it's got the over, so we're still going to look for the long. It's just going to change from a breakout style trade to a buy the dip, and then jump on over to NVIDIA, which is still, like, it's actually trending a bit to the downside now all of a sudden. So no breakout trade for me yet on NVIDIA. We're just going to cancel that order. I don't think this one's going to come into play. And if it does, we've probably waited too long. It's Tesla that we're trying to jump back for the short. So Tesla's continuing to trend down. You're now 2% to the downside under that 45 level. We had the break. That didn't take. So we're going to short the next available top. You're about to get to the high of the day on the NASDAQ, or at least toward the market high, and you've got Tesla absolutely flushing through. So it could be one of those Fridays for Tesla where we want to be fading it. We just jumped into Intel off the low of the day. So wick the bottom is holding the low. And if it's more of it's a rubber band trade, if it can bounce off this previous low, looking for it to even just get to the 33.50. I'm not thinking gap fill on Intel. I'm thinking Intel go from the quarter to the 50, down 5% into a flat market. This is more of a dead cat bounce play than thinking Intel's going to make some Tesla-like bottom. That's not the way it moves.
I'll look at Intel in a minute as well with you guys. 484 and change coming through here. Look, we have 2 trades today. We just got filled on Meta, so we waited for that breakout right there. So there it is again. That is 481 out 484. So it is $3 there on Meta. We still have a third. So we're still letting this name go. Like we said, we're going to be at the highest spot. And traders are different, right? Neil's been in 5, 6 names today. We've been in 2. You guys might have been in 10. You might have been in 1. You might have been in none. Make sure that you line it up. And again, you can ask us. I mean, I'm showing you all these trades. I'm going to show you winners or losers and tell you guys about them as well. So if there's anything that you need to ask, please feel free. Both of us are right here to do that. So I was still waiting for that ARM down to 160. I don't know if that's going to come through or not. I'm really happy that we got out of that Meta, like really, really happy, because now it's house money and it's been great. Also really happy that we're able to get out of some of that NVIDIA again. And again, go from what you're doing. This is what I'm doing. And it's working. It's working. We're having a great month. Like I said, one of the best months we've had. And it just keeps on going. So it's been a good one. Things we're doing are working. And I just hope that you're able to see those with the trades that we're putting on here every single day. Damn, I lost Amazon. What happened to Amazon here? It says Brad Gober here. Yeah. I mean, again, we were waiting. I was waiting for 185.50. Brad, that got as high as 185. So again, you're 100% right. There it is right there. Thank you, Brad, for acknowledging that. Right there, the sticky note hits again. Right there at 185. It's just we were waiting for 185.50. Could have done better on that one for sure. Again, here comes NVIDIA coming back in. So we have less than half of our reload right now. Still my the positive stock for me today. We only have 2 of them, but NVIDIA continues to be that. I'm going to offer here, get something out. If we can get back up to O's, because it does look like it's fading out here. Look at this market really coming back in.
Yeah, now
we're happy to get out of that meta. I still like that Intel long. I'm going to go over and have a look at that.
It literally hasn't moved. Intel is exactly where it was when I threw to you a second ago. So absolutely no change on Intel, although it's not really bouncing off the high, which is not good because if the market is coming back downside, Intel could be in some trouble. So consecutive times, we short underneath the high on Rivian. It breaks the high, wicks out, breaks the high, wicks out, still holding the 17 level. So as long as that's true, I jump back in a little bit tighter this time at 91. If it takes VWAP, I'll have 2/3. I'll have a third out if I get this fill, and then we'll look for 1665 and lower. But as I said, Intel's still looking incredibly heavy underneath that 33 level. So there it is. It wicked the bottom. I got in when it wicked this low, and it's still holding the same low. But you can see what's happening. It's trending right back into the low. If it breaks the bottom, we got to get out. Looking for a VWAP retrace would be great, but I've got most out into 33.5. We get 33.5, we'll hold on to a piece where I think the dream would even be VWAP, because I think this should be a short the way that it's headed to the downside. Trend down, hold it for that trend if I can get a short to pop, but we're playing support level here on Intel. Tesla is seriously far gone at this point. 242 to the downside now on Tesla. This thing just keeps on tanking. Next pop could be 44, 45, but Tesla just can't seem to get out of its own way.
Ponzi Fonzie says it feels good to be a gangster. You are right about that one. You know what gangsters do? They stack it up. Look what Meta's doing. $4.85 right now. $4 in the money now as that one just keeps on going. And I was like, I feel pretty good about getting this out at $4.84 because I do. Take it stages up, man. There it is. Thank you for that one as Fabian drops it down right there. And again, not all true traders are made the same here, guys. You have to make sure that you look at the names that you're looking at. If you are a Netflix trader, you're an earnings kind of player. I mean, you had a huge move today on Netflix, man. Netflix goes up to $6.80 right there off the open and then fades back $40. I mean, again, pick your poison. We've picked ours, and we know exactly sort of where we're at. Netflix right now, $1 spread, looking a little bit spicy, but it does get that fall in right there. Look what 635 looks like. So Netflix came right in. There's 635 yesterday. Not the greatest level, 620 maybe as a bottom, but another good hold right there for NFLX. And yeah, we did not reload. We came close to reloading. I was waiting for lower there on NVIDIA as we come all the way back up. Shouldn't I put an offer up here somewhere? Nice move now for NVIDIA. And again, this is what trading a little bit more shares, I've noticed, obviously, can do for you. Give you a little bit more outs. I don't have to be exact about things. Obviously, we'll look back and be upset if we get too much out. We've done that a lot before. But there it goes for NVIDIA. Again, 50 cents in the money on NVIDIA. I just want everyone to, we don't show our share size on here, but I just want everyone to know I'm up, even though NVIDIA is only 70 cents in the money, I'm actually up more on NVIDIA than we are on Meta. And Meta right now is $5 in the money. So put a little bit more risk in NVIDIA, had it reloaded a bunch of times, have these outs up here, then the reload. So yeah, NVIDIA by far the number one right here. And we're happy today for sure, because today we share the podium with two of the best traders here, both Wayne and Brankles today killing it. So let's give a big shout out to Wayne and Brankles today right now. Those guys both killed it. I need a little bit of work to catch them, but we'll see if we can get it. Congratulations. There's Max. Max is in the building as well. So shout out to everybody there today. Congratulations to Wayne and Brankles for the 1-2 spot. We'll see if we're picking up the rear here and see if we can catch those guys.
What about Brankles on the bridge?
Yeah, great trading there for Brankles. And I told Brankles this a lot, man. I'm really proud of the way the trading has evolved here. And I'm just happy for these guys. The way the market is right now, these are the greatest opportunities, and there's a lot of movement here in a lot of big cap names. So I'm just really, really, happy to see the change sort of guard here. Congratulations to Wayne and to Brankles. Obviously, Greg will be missed, but the branch right now
Greg
is in the best place it's been at since I managed it. Hey, just a joke. Brankles, you're the best, but.
What up, Brankles? As he's eating away over there.
Yeah, we love some Brankles.
We love some Brankles over there. He just goes like the nicest thing Sean has ever said to me.
Hey, look, if I don't give credit to traders around here, I don't know, right? So that's what we got to do. Thank you, Brankles. Love you, buddy.
We love the crew around here. Mission Pass. Ooh, little GTA.
Respect to the guys around
A little GTA. That's what we love to see over there. Bless you, Ram. So I said I would be in this name all day long. It tried to get me out, and I just jumped right back in. So Walgreens hit the low, wicked the top, failed it, right back into it. So as long as it's got this bear flag, I'm going to stick in inside the short for that. We're still in Rivian. We're not in Tesla, but I'm not chasing Tesla at all. Like we had one short opportunity on a breakdown trade, but that was a breakdown. We should have just gone with the old VWAP strategy. And now I'm going to go back into that. Now you're trend down. You've got to look to be able to short the pops. This is clearly, obviously weak in every sense of the word here. It's not looking very good. We're still in Rivian, but that's actually trending in the other direction. So Rivian got to VWAP. We're able to get filled. Took some on the way back up. I'm like, yeah, starting to look strong again. So we had to make sure we got some out on the way up to only hold half of it back into 17. But a very different story between these two EV names. So eyeballs here on Tesla. It's popping into the upside. We'll try to rejoin the trend in here. If we can, it looks like the low of 244.50, where the break failed at 45. That would be the next spot to look for a fade. We're going to go in a second over there to Indera, but I still, like NVIDIA's trying to hold this VWAP 120 higher low. It's at the point now where it's at least set some kind of a higher low where I can put a trend in. There's your bottom. There's your first hold level from the low. So if it can hold on to that trend, it gives me something to join. Trying to be patient. VWAP hasn't been too much of a thing, but at some point that trend should converge where within VWAP, and then I can start getting into it. We just have to be patient, I think, here with NVIDIA. Down 0.5% when the market's dead flat. Let's go over to Adara for the small cap recap.
With the exception of that pop and drop we had near the open here, the IWM has more or less been in a 40 penny range between that 217.80 and that 218.20 area going back into the pre-market. So a bit more of a consolidative look for the Russell 2000 following a couple days of strength for this ETF. We have a couple small gappers to talk about. One of them is going to be VRPX. This is Virpax getting a buy rating here upgraded by Maxim Group at a $3 price target. We also have here Autonomix, AMIX. This one getting to new high of days as we speak. We had this catalyst back on Monday for this name. They entered into an agreement for licensing their IP for their FDA-cleared ablation technology. So this interesting look here for AMIX going back to Monday. Bit of a continuation move for this one. Last but not least, here we have Hawaiian Electric, HE. This one a bit larger, but $1.4 billion market cap. Short float of around 22.4% of the total float. But trading higher after Bloomberg reported that the company has reached a tentative settlement plan with regards to the Maui wildfires. So HE on watch here as well, guys.
All right.
Yeah, that's a huge gap. Great. It's a good story for them. Obviously, they were under pressure with that wildfire, but it was a huge gap for them. Tesla making a bit of a bounce, but not much. So I don't think we're going to get much out of 245. We're just going to have to be patient with it.
What happened to Intel?
Tesla, the second we said there was a trend to the upside, all right, I lost my trend line. Let's just redraw it. Second we said it was a test to the upside. It just regained it. I'll hit the save, so that's looking a little bit stronger. Intel couldn't hold the low. We had one bottom on the Intel. We got this long to that level, and it does not hold. So that was it. It's either above this level and regaining that 33.30, or you're underneath support, and I'm not taking it. It can always do a rounded bottom and get us some kind of other entry in there, but as long as you're under, no fly zone for me, and we go back over to the well. So it gets to a key level, we trade off the key level, still waiting on a decision from NVIDIA as if it's going to get back above VWAP and hold on to this trend For now, we're just going to have to be patient with it. Looks like it wants to test some of these bottoms. It might just be NVIDIA's not the strong. No, and AMD's doing the same thing. So it's not like AMD's any stronger. AMD is also trend down. Looks like these chips are taking it a bit on the chin here. Nasty, nasty, nasty to the downside. I mean, obviously, yeah, SOXL's probably just trend down as well. Maybe you have to wait for SOX to break this trend. Looking awfully weak. At least we're in the right one. Or looking for the long in the right one. NVIDIA is stronger than SOXL, stronger than AMD as well. I just need to bounce off this trend and start holding VWAP before I get in. Don't want it on the way down. We got to find it on some strength here.
Yeah, we give those bangs to Neil's comment right there because he is dead right, man. I mean, NVIDIA is going to be my #1 name today, and it is the strongest name from the chip names. But again, like, the futures aren't doing anything. Like, I don't really... I feel pretty good about holding on to this, but I was just looking at it and I wanted to talk about this. I'm going to, in an effort not to give like everything back, obviously, I was going to buy dips down into here, right? And then watch out for this 119. But the thing is, it's telling us right now that this is weak. It's bouncing off VWAP. It's not really doing a whole heck of a lot at these spots right now. So with that being said, so that we don't get too run over here, I'm going to take another piece out right here at O's. So we're just going to get another piece out here for flat. We now have less than, well, we have about 10% of our reload positions, but way less net the amount of shares that we've traded today. Again, it's a lot, but we only have, now that I look at it, like less than 1 or 2% left of our total so far of trading today. Maybe it's a little bit more than that. So we'll wait for it. We'll figure it out. What's up, CompuCare team? Do I think the NQ will pull down more here? No, not really. I don't. That's what I was trying to explain right there. I don't really have a great feel on this right now. So if you ask, do I think it can or will it? I mean, anything can happen. That's why I just got out of NVIDIA, because I do think that we're underneath VWAP right here. We're sitting at these bottoms, but there's been a lot of support. So like, you really got to break this 19.8 before we really start to say maybe these cows are coming home. I mean, Neil already talked about it. Oh yeah, Ozan wants to blow the cow. So there it is right now. We'll put that up for you. And thank you for all the comments about the trading today. I mean, it's just been 2 names, but we've been talking about them, reloading them, and really having a great time. And I'm going to do this more often, and that is little fun emojis, because maybe we're getting those good feels about it. Here's the trade right here that we talked about. Breakout, takeoff. We knew that Meta was going to go. We didn't know it was going to go, but we knew that it had a good chance, because look at this. Yesterday in the afternoon, Meta closes at the high of the day. Not even, like, it's way above. You know, there was a little bit of a pullback there into the close, and then we already talked about why that can happen. These pullbacks can happen due to those market on close imbalances, which were pretty nasty there again yesterday. But look what Meta's doing right now, Neil. You nailed that one. You said possible 490. Glad that we're still in this one, because it is a chicken dinner winner. We're now $5 in the money. This happens daily on the desk, man. Like yesterday, AMD, I think, was $5 or $6. Today, it's going to be Meta. We'll see. We've already had NVIDIA for the $1. I mean, it's just about the style that you guys are doing. And there it is. There's the takeoff on Meta. That one day that we took $19 on this and then it went 30, it's like, I don't get the feels for that today, because the market doesn't really have...
Market's breaking down right
Yeah,
now.
Market's breaking down and Meta's breaking up, Neil. Can you believe that?
NVIDIA
Yeah, this is why we got out of NVIDIA. And again, the chef is here. We just talked about it, man. Put that concoction in there and get out. We talked about a possible low take right there. We are not averaging back into NVIDIA, Neil. We'll see.
I was just asked in the chat if I was like, oh, there's your trend line. Are you looking to go short if NVIDIA broke the trend line? The answer is no, because NVIDIA was relatively strong and I was looking for a long in NVIDIA. And not every trade is an automatic reversal. So my answer was no. Obviously, it's going to go right to the downside as it breaks on through. So as we lost support just now on the futures, I want to see us trend underneath VWAP on Rivian. I have a bid down here at 73. That's the last one till I see what happens at VWAP. If it breaks under VWAP, I'd try to short a consolidation under. Rivian did a very similar thing a couple of days ago, where like it was strong, and then once it got under VWAP, it just consolidation rolled over under. So if that's going to happen, I'd like to be involved one more time. Walgreens could break 11. If it breaks 11, I'll cross that bridge when it gets. I'm not really taking a breakdown trade on Walgreens. I am looking to short pops on Walgreens if we can, Speaking of short pops, there are no pops big enough yet to get short in Tesla, it seems. If we see 240 break, nah, you know what, short the pops. The 45 break was no good, so I'm not going to take any breaks on Tesla. I'm only shorting pops today.
Palantir looks good. Yeah, you're right about that one. Yeah, NVIDIA might shake out.
How is Pins the stock breaking out right now?
Yeah, I don't know. The stock, I mean, I have one breakout stock that I don't understand either, and they're both in that spot, right? I mean, Pinned is obviously not Meta, but Meta right now breaking out here as well, big time. We just took some more at 40s, and then it went to 70s. We did get a nice little bump back up there, actually more than 70s. We went to 90s there on that bounce back. So, all right, we're going to wait for 15. So I was just going to give it to 119 right there. What is that bottom wick exactly? 95s or so. I'm not even going to give it to that. We have the low of the day. Yeah, it's not right.
119.
Yeah, our software says 117, but yeah, it's 119 flat. So here it comes back in. So it's a good thing we did reload it. So I'm not saying it's a good thing we didn't reload it because we do have shares now, but we only have them right now. So we are long now at 27s here on NVIDIA. And there it goes, right back up to the upside there. We'll take a little piece out as, yeah, we've been wrong and we have to take something out here just to see. We do have that breaker 19 on the mind there. If we break it at 119, then we will get out. Let's see if NVIDIA can scream upside a little bit right now. Long at 119.15. We were just long at 119.27. So that was our true price. We did take some out right there. That just came in. Look at the futures. It's weak. We don't normally like to trade names that are weak into a weak market, especially names that are weaker than the market. So there it goes. All right, let's go. Let's take some more money here on NVIDIA. We're at the highest spot we've been at here again all day, but let's see if we can keep going, Neil, on this take of 119 long right there on NVIDIA. Boom goes the dynamite. That's 40 cents right here. Let's see if we continue to go on this one. $5 in the money on Meta, and hopefully when we get back from our girl, NVIDIA will still be in my account.
Before we get to crypto, a quick update from another Mag 7 name here, Microsoft, MSFT, Microsoft Service Health Page, Status Page 365 is now saying that the Microsoft 365 Admin Center is available. So just an update with that ongoing outage with CRWD and MSFT. Bitcoin chart here looking for a great breakout here. After fighting that support of that 54,000 on the daily chart, consolidating a bit, looks like we're trying to get a pop off of that 64,000 level. So interesting look right now for BTC. Be interesting to see what we could do if we come back to that 69,000, 70,000 area. We've tried now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times to break back above that 73,000 for Bitcoin on the daily chart. Bitcoin right now at around 65.6, up about 2%. Ethereum lagging a little bit, up about 0.3%, holding on to that 3,400 level. The rest of these crypto names relatively strong. Ripple pulling back again here yesterday, down about 1 2/3%. Solana up 5%, though. You've got BNB up 1 2/3%. Dogecoin up about 1.5%. But also here's some weakness in Cardano. So bit of a mixed picture for these crypto names, as we've seen all week, though. Bitcoin and Ethereum leading the group to the upside.
I mean, the Coinbase chart is insane. We'll get that in a quick second. But while we're getting some lows on the market, I noticed that we said we'd go to a scalp trade off the failed breakout trade on ARM. So instead of the big move, look for something a little more scalpish. It was holding VWAP that entire time. So on the adjustment, this is support, more like a $0.50 in there. So you're at the evens. If it can hold a half, just risk a little bit less. But the market wants down. Only have 2 shorts. We're going to go a little bit tighter stop, and I just got to look short. It's that simple. Like the shorts that you're holding are just working. And I said I wouldn't do it on NVIDIA, which was if you start breaking trend back in, just look for the short trade. Well, 161.50, I looked back at my note this morning and it said over under 161.50. And if you're breaking a trend line under that price, then my rule says I should be shorting that. So I paid for locates on ARM. I'm 99% sure that I did. So we should be able to go short. But if it loses this, I've got to listen to myself and just stop trying the long on ARM. It's up 2 points and it got an upgrade, but who cares if the trend is to the downside, right? You got to listen to that price action. Oh, no. I just got a little bit, okay, so Rivian just broke VWAP. If it consolidates under, I'll stick with that short. And we're still in Walgreens, next available pop. But looking for that short over there in ARM. NVIDIA is through the low as well.
Okay, yeah, so we'll get stopped out of NVIDIA, but it's...
Oh my God.
Good trade there for NVIDIA because it did pop back up and we were able to get out of that one. So we did lose on the last piece of that for NVIDIA. Still my number one stock here today. And then Meta, we still have a third of this one, but yeah, it definitely got faded off there off 487. So let's see what's happening now with Meta as it's come screaming right back in. We've done really good to hold most of our net here today, despite this move down. So NVIDIA, the reload, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if, I mean, we will wind up making money, but it's not much. Like, we definitely gave some up because we were long up here and we still had shares, right? And so averaging back was good until it wasn't. And then there it is, breaking through 119. And then there it goes. At least we identified this trade, right? We could have put in a lot. And this is what I'm saying, man. It's getting, I feel like we're getting better at all of this. So, you know, we did not layer in to NVIDIA there. We waited for the best price and we didn't even put on that many shares. Again, week into the market. Remember we said, like, what are we even doing going long into a market that's like this? And that was the mistake there for NVIDIA the last time, but we trusted it. Still a good one. Now we wrote down AMD here that we actually, it's not on today's. Yesterday's it was a short. I just wonder if we're coming in a little bit too much here for AMD. I really like a 150 area for this. Look how bad this name has been. Wow. AMD is just getting killed, and it's down like 20% in a week, maybe more than that. 152. So let's look at it on a daily chart here. I mean, there's going to be no levels all week. That little wick down is 148.96. We're at the 200 period rate now. This is a possible buy zone for AMD.
On a weekly, it looks like a great buy on a weekly chart.
Yeah, I know ARM hasn't been
big butts.
Yeah, I know you were long ARM for a minute there. I think we do got to wait for it.
Look, if it can't hold 161.50, my rule said I should be looking short underneath that price. So if it breaks the low, I got to do what I got to do. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, usually if I have a direction on ARM, I'm generally not flipping it. The days I think it's a short, I only short it. The days I think it's a long, I only long it. But I'm not thinking that's the case today. That's all. I was just going to show the weekly on AMD. I recently sold some AMD, and I'm not exactly chomping at the bit to buy it. I feel like if I put any money back into the chips, it might just be the chips in general, like a SOX L or something, or like NVIDIA, because I'm not liking the heaviness of AMD. Walgreens, I did get wicked out of it, but like I said, I'm just going to probably stick to this. As long as it's trend down and I can get the short in these teens into the low of the day, hopefully at 350. We'll see what happens at 350, but hopefully at 350, we're still in that one. But as I said with ARM, going to keep it pretty simple. There's the 161.50. I'm not even worried about the trend line. If it starts holding down here, I'll be looking for a short. So it's been a weirdly condensed day for ARM where I was expecting explosion, and it's an inside day on ARM. Now, I thought this was going to be a rip-your-face-off rally on ARM altogether. Now, Tesla's tanking. It's not at 240 just yet. It just broke 241 into the downside. I have Rivian, which is about 20 cents in the money, but I got to see this show weakness like Tesla. Like, Rivian's just trying to break VWAP, and Tesla is literally at the 240 level in just a couple of seconds here. So bloodbath for Tesla, down 3 points. The market's basically down 0.5 point, and not that bad. But Tesla is really starting to bleed.
All right. And again, I want to say thank you right there to everybody in the chat. Thank you so much to Vin. Thank you so much to Fonzie. Yeah, the truth is there. You could see, I just want to say, where was it right here? Very proud, says Hey Davis. Hey, man, I'm very proud of you. You know who else we're very proud of? A decent day right there behind us for Big Patty Ice. So shout out to Big PI. He's not sitting there right now. He coming for the crown. Big Patty Ice, possibly the next one. We'll see where he is right now, probably having one of those spros, as he and Sharif are spro bros right there. I want to get added to that, but the thing is, it's too much to bring three over here. So spros bros right there coming in. Big shout out to Big Patty Ice. All right, so by the way, I know Neil was talking about ARM there. I tried to go long ARM, and I have a bid on the bid, but it missed me. 161.20. The bid was 161.25. Right there, and we missed it by 5 cents. I could have just punched in, and now we'd have $1 on the money, but we don't. So ARM, we'll wait to see if that falls back again. I like this position if it does come in. So different there. NVIDIA does battle back, man. Still fine. I said this yesterday. I think I said this to Big Patty Ice because he congratulated me after the day I had yesterday, and he was talking about that AMD trade and yada yada yada, all this stuff. And then I was just like, man, it's like we're trying every day to get these trades in. And the key is to not get frustrated when you've missed a trade, and to remember that there's always more trades. So that was something that I told BPI, and like right now, I'm thinking about it to myself, like, hey, look, I'm already a little mad here, because not mad, but I'm thinking about a long on NVIDIA because of the reaction here. Like it just went down and then it does this. So for me, I'm thinking, okay, where are we with this trade right now? I still have to think short, or at least not just jump right back into this. That was a great hold at 118. I know we've been looking at 118 for a while on NVIDIA as a possible hold spot, but to take that, then you have to think about this 117, and then really where is the spot that you want to get in or out of on NVIDIA. So just be careful with that one there on NVIDIA, and you'll be able to see where your risk levels are. For me, down to 118, a little bit better now that we've seen that bottom. I'm not going to get FOMO and get back in. The one name that we've been in, and again, we'll hashtag this because they're our #1 sponsor, and honestly, the more I talk about it, the more they tell me I'm doing a good job doing it. So here it is, man. Real traders stick with real trading. And honestly, our software allows us to do this. Like so far here today, we're doing well, man. We have 2 stocks. We only have a few trades. We don't have that many trades, like maybe 15, 20 trades. Our fees are $2 right now. So again, 3 billion trades, dollars worth a day, 50 plus markets, over 3,000 traders and 400 million shares traded worldwide a day, probably going higher now with the current market. So make sure you go hit it up, Real Trading, hit that join today and be part of the team. And then you too can become as good traders as Brankles Wayne and Big Patty Ice. So, do that right there and become part of the team. And that's why I'm shouting out Brankles and Wayne. I mean, we have a great floor here full of great traders, and it's led by great leadership. So right there, good trading today. And talk about leadership, DJT yesterday has his shine moment in the sun there, and I thought it was a good RNC there. I actually stayed up. I was up past midnight there watching the speech.
Yuck.
Thought it was really good, and we'll have to wait to see here. 36 though, fading off of that. That's VWAP. DJT down 6%. This stock has now become, and I think we know this, and we've talked about this for a while.
Meme stock.
It's just meme stock for a minute for sure. I mean, look at the daily chart here. It's going to be a fade the news stock. So it's like heading into something, it might go up, and then after the fact, maybe coming back down. Like I almost think this may not do anything until we get, again, possible Biden stepping down, staying in the race, whatever. I don't think this is, it's not that I don't think this is not a profitable company. So you're going to trade this, like what Neil was saying, based on the meme feels. And if you do trade GameStop or things like that, DJT is probably already on your radar. So, all right, that is that. And yeah, I'll stay up to watch. I don't know how late it will be. I'll stay up to watch Joe Biden's speech at
Will you though?
Yeah, I will. Yeah. It's not that I'm favoring Trump. I want to see what it's all about. He had some interesting things to say.
I don't know. I'm not staying up for it.
Well, you didn't stay up. Yeah, it's going to be past 9 o'clock or whatever, right?
The weekend I will, but
yeah.
I don't know. I feel ways about that. I just don't enjoy. I just don't enjoy it, man.
Ouch.
It's like the debate. I stayed up for. I stayed up for the debate.
Yeah.
And at the end, I was just like, "Oh, I can't believe I stayed up.
Hulk Hogan
I can't
was
believe
there.
I stayed up for that."
Hulk Hogan was there. Dana White was there.
No.
It was really good, man. Good entertainment. But apparently not for this guy. But you know what is for all of us? It's Adara. And she's over there at the screen.
Not a lot of sectors obviously green today, but there's quite a few that are notably red to talk about. Lots of weakness in producer manufacturing, energy minerals a bit weak here, process industries, consumer non-durables after a few days of strength selling off a bit today, commercial services a bit weaker here as well. Then, of course, finance sector worth noting. We have a couple green names here, but some notable sell-offs in AXP and TRV, both of those earnings names from today. Electronic technology, a lot of these semiconductors, notably Intel selling down by about 5% here. A lot of these semiconductors selling off right now on the day. Most of them also reporting the week after next, so semis definitely continuing to be on watch. Electronic technology sector, not bad though, despite that big move down in CrowdStrike on that system outage. We do have some strength here in Oracle, ACN, some of these other tech names, as well as both Meta and Google. Also worth noting here in health technology, you have Eli Lilly to the upside on that Zepbound approval in China, ISRG up on earnings. So definitely some catalysts in all these sectors to keep an eye on. And don't forget to like and subscribe.
That's right.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. Actually, don't forget Nike's making a move. Look, Nike was not good yesterday, and we thought, like, I came in, I have 74 written down with like an exclamation mark. If it breaks 74, look for a long. But with the market at the lows, what's breaking out the highs? One of the things that I always, like, if you, like, you know, today, not good. I had ARM as a top idea, and when ARM doesn't go, like, ARM's either big or it's either big or big for me. Like, I don't actually, like, to me, ARM is usually risking more than anything else when it works. You know, so I'm down. The last time we traded ARM, we made a little bit more than this, but I'm 0 for 2 on ARM, and I might swing into a short. When that happens, you got to look for the next available trade. I like channel breaks. You guys have seen this about the last little bit. Nike, for whatever reason, has a very clear defined higher highs and higher lows into a weak market. If it wants to continue that trend, it just broke out at about yesterday's close price, 72.5. That's set up for dip back into previous support, and if it starts another upward trend, play that. If it plays into VWAP, play that. Rivian just broke VWAP, and Rivian's still on the NASDAQ. Rivian just broke VWAP. I thought we'd get consolidation under like we did 2 days ago. That's this day, so pop, fade, consolidation under. It's not doing that yet, but the last time it happened, it was a dip of about 30 cents and then pulled right back into 1790. So if it dips back into 1760, pulls back into VWAP at the 75 level, I'm going to look to continue short down into the low of the day. So that would be the next play on Rivian. ARM, I still think we got to play patience. If it's going to hold this lower trend line, I just want to see it get back underneath the bottom. If it starts channeling under the bottom, look for the breakdown from there. But it is just condensing on ARM. Like, all you're getting is more condensing on what I thought was going to be an explosive move. Like, away from here, ARM went down $10. I'm looking for it to break up and then go $10 to the upside, and ARM is doing the exact opposite, unfortunately. Thought we have a big day on ARM, and we did not at all. I know that silo stock is one that a lot of people are paying attention to here. Anytime one of these like low float runners or whatever you want, whatever name you want to give it, does this kind of a failure, I think you almost want to sit this one out. It looks like it's got a good level at $2. If it gets down to $2, maybe you got to bounce there. I thought we'd also be getting a SSR bounce 220 on plug. That was the other trade that we wanted to grab. Plug power, double bottom at 240. So it's still trending to the downside, but nowhere close to the level that I wanted. My bids aren't even there anymore. I'm not even sure we're going to get this 220 on plug power. Kind of a nothing burger for this one.
Yeah, we're only in one trade, guys, and it's going to be Meta. If there's anything you want me to look at, someone just said check out Apple, so you guys know we love some Apple. We can also check out what our sticky note was all about. We had Amazon short 185. We could check that out, 185.50. We have the ARM long. We still love that trade. That's at 160. Not hitting yet. We had the Tesla short. Hard to predict that call, how dramatic it was going to be to the downside there for Tesla. We wanted to short pops, and there was none. It just kept going all morning. We'll have to look at it in the afternoon. But again, there's the 50 period, right? There's the 50 period. You might be getting a little bit of a change of guard right now. But again, this is not, I have to, if we're ever going to make a play short on something, it has to get back at least to VWAP, if not maybe even the 200 period, and then I have to like it. And right now, today, I still like the long in many stocks. And I'm actually looking long in Tesla at that level because someone mentioned Apple. Let's have a quick look at it. So again, the same kind of thing happened here. Pre-market high fade would have worked perfectly fine. And now you're back into the bottom as well. So nice move right there coming through. So we'll wait to see what does wind up happening here on Apple. So a good little trade there. Again, I like the long here, especially if this market bounces. So Apple coming through. I would, okay, before I say I like the long on something, I just have to tell you what I'm looking for. I'm actually looking to fade the NASDAQ. So if we're going to talk about individual stocks, I would rather be on the side of where I feel like the market's going. So I could say I like the stock on Apple, but again, if you're going to trade with smaller shares, then take shots everywhere. But if you're going to, if your style is, and I've changed my style, we've talked about this, is to try to do what we're doing, then you really have to have everything combined. You can't just throw things back and forth at stock. And I was actually talking about this with Patrick yesterday, and that is that you can't be stubborn. You have to make sure that the positions that you're putting on are there for reasons. And until those line up for me, and right now that would be a VWAP, I could potentially look at this as a 50 period, but then a bigger position right here at VWAP. So as the market continues to fall down here into a Friday, remember, it's options expiration, right? I mean, a lot of these options, there's probably a lot of traders that were pretty darn bullish heading in, right, to this week, and then got smacked here. I don't know. I mean, that attempted assassination of Donald Trump over the weekend probably, gave some jitters, obviously, to world politics and things like that. Market getting hit on that. Couple downgrades, right? NVDA, we've seen that come back in. So potentially here on Friday, remember, in order to make money, though, on those puts, they're going to have to get exercise, which they're going to have to buy back. It wouldn't be surprised if we do get a little bit of a bump, but probably afternoon, like 12, 1, 2 o'clock, wouldn't mind catching bottoms then. But for now, maybe this market wants to keep on going to the downside. But before we go to Money Talks, let's do something that's just as important. Today, you may or may not know what's popular around here. If you said chicken, then unfortunately today you do have yourself a chicken dinner winner. Look, we haven't had chicken really on top of the salad. I think maybe once this week.
Yesterday's egg was a problem.
Yeah, we had egg yesterday. But today, roasted Cajun chicken with pasta salad. I think that's not bad. A little pasta salad there for lunch with some roasted chicken.
I love Cajun everything.
I think that is good.
I love
Cajun. We like Cajun. That is more content and what's for lunch. Now.
What is being served for lunch today? My segue to the stock that everyone's talking about in the chat here is this SCRV. I couldn't find any news. Oh, there it is. Dara just mentioned just now, like 2 seconds ago. NVIDIA disclosed the position at 62,000 shares at $4 on Serve. Well, let's throw to the desk here. We got the news on Serve crossing the $70 million mark.
Money Talks, I have SCRV, and I also have an update on the Microsoft situation. Microsoft saying that all their previously impacted apps and services have recovered, and they're entering, quote, a period of monitoring to ensure the outage impact is fully resolved. So update there from Microsoft. In terms of SCRV, we have NVIDIA disclosing a 62,500 share stake in Serve Robotics, average price of $4 a share. Also, they did convert a promissory note into more shares, so total, NVIDIA owns about 10% of SCRV. Uber also has about a 14% stake in this company, so a couple of major names having positions here in SCRV. More details on that story in the watch list actually as well. In terms of Money Talks, not too much to talk about on the economic data side of things. We did not have any economic data today. We have the DXY though, pushing nicely above its previous area of support resistance, that 104.10. We're currently heading into the 104.30s. Great bounce off of that 103.70 area. Couple things to be aware of. We had Feds Williams, who began speaking 10 minutes ago at 10:40, not seeing any comments from him. Then at 1 p.m., we'll get Feds Bostic, which could be worth keeping an eye on here. So that's what we have in terms of economic data coming out. Next week on Friday, we'll get the PCE price index. That is the Fed's preferred inflation gauge ahead of their July meeting on July 30th to 31st. So some exciting things happening next week, but just keep an eye on those Fed speakers, guys.
And when you look at the $4 level, they're on Serve. Like, this is what happened at $4. Like, look at all of the liquidity grab. There it is, 62,500. That's an oddly specific number, but it's all about the dollar amount because that's what they do. But if you see what happened on this thing at $4, it was like an over-under du jour, like all kinds of support, and then it broke out the channel to the upside. My daily chart's not going to be the best on this. What's going to be really hard to see. But if you look at where it is right now, like this is $5 as well. So kind of a big resistance at 5. That was the pre-market high. It'd go way back out on the daily chart. I'd be surprised if it sees those prices again. If it does, 5 is an obvious area to go long. 4 is an obvious area. But the volume is absolutely tremendous. It's actually holding volume up here. So I don't think there's no tops. It's kind of like a blue sky setup at this point on SCRV. Like, you don't have any big bag holder levels in this price range. So if it can maintain the volume, this isn't going to be about like a VWAP retracement. If it just holds up here, the dip buy might be at this 550.
I just want to say shout out here for our watch list. You can go grab that right now. There's links on the screen all of the time. Go over to Trader TV Live, grab this watch list, and here it is right here. For those of you asking about Serve, there's the story right there at the bottom of the watch list, up 75% there as we put this out. So for those of you asking about the story, it's exactly what she just mentioned. It's right here. Gapping up, disclosed an investment in the company, buying 62,000 shares. That's NVIDIA, again, at $4 each. So there it goes, Serve. That stock now upside. Go grab our watch list. Check out our website. Go find that. It'll come up at some point throughout the day where our watch list is. There it is right there. Scan us right there and go find that. So thank you to everybody again for continuously supporting the show. It's just getting better and better. And I really feel like, honestly, the trades, there's another VWAP. So I did not reload Meta. And I'm learning every day, and that's the best part. Today we only have 2 trades. And Meta's now $4 in the money, and NVIDIA is my highest P&L name, which now is way up from that $19 level. And I said that I thought I was leveling myself up by not getting back in to NVIDIA right there. But yeah, you know, we're going to miss some of those calls, like we said here. But going, you know, having this today has been a good one. And I just look over and I see the same kind of stuff as we talk about that here. Trading so far has been pick your spots and go for it. And that's why we talk about some of the successes that we've had on here. So again, a big shout out to the guys behind us for picking specific names and going for it today. And we're trying to follow on those coattails. And I promise you, another one. We'll have more of those as long as you all join Hydration Nation and drink lots of water. You will have some success there for sure. And make sure you do follow me at Trader TV Sean, because we're dropping out these ideas every single day. At Trader TV Live is there. We all have socials going. Here is the sticky note today with a couple decent names on it. Oh, I wanted to check out Amazon. Meta was a big one. We talked about why we like that right here. We brought this up to you. This is a name that I did not include on this sticky note. Thinking about doing more of that. Trades that I really, really like. Looking at stuff like this, there it was. It was the Meta break of 480. And why did we like it again? Those of you always ask, like, hey, can you explain where do we find these names? This was not on the watch list, nothing like that. This was just, or maybe it was, just a strong name up there into the close yesterday, and then was holding some of those levels. So we thought a break right there of 480, and it could get going, and it did, man, to the fact where we took $4 or almost $5, I think, on that trade, which is now $4 in the money. But our best out is actually right here. Is that only $4? Yeah, so 480, 425 off of this level. So good out there. We do miss the top, but hey, it's not even 11 o'clock right now. So let's see if we get going on this market. Meta's the only stock that we have. I will be looking to get long NVIDIA now on dips, but good call for anybody that did hold onto that 219. Again, not bad. I still like the stock.
Yeah, I like the Tesla stock, but today it's not a buy. It looks like a sell on Tesla. Didn't quite get into VWAP in here. I said this would be the next idea, would be a short into VWAP if we could get it. It came pretty close. Willing to take it at 244 and above. It got to like 243.90 something, turning around, but just be patient. It's like 57. We got a couple of minutes. If it can make another higher low, probably presses into VWAP to give us that fill, and then still looking for a decision on like more condensation here for ARM. Like it just continues to like coil a little bit tighter. The tighter this gets, and I haven't drawn the top of it, like the tighter that gets, at some point you eventually break away from this trend, higher lows and lower highs, and then hold above it, hold below it, and that's what I'm waiting for. If it's not doing that, then it's still inside, and it's, to me, just a waste of time to look for a bigger trade in ARM. But Tesla VWAP looks like it'll be the next thing to go. We're still in the Rivian short, and we're still in Walgreens. Haven't had a reload in Walgreens in a while. Hasn't seemed to got back to the top of the range just yet. If it breaks $11 to the downside, that might reset the range lower, but just want to be in this one for the rest of the day.
All right. Again, I mean, Should have bought ARM. We talked about really liking the long on ARM as it tries to break out again. So, I mean, this is was on the sticky note and still is, wherever that sticky note is right here, the number 2 idea for ARM going long at 160. We didn't get that opportunity. It's funny because we were waiting right there 5 cents away from getting the fill the last time ARM came down. So we'll still sit there and see if we can grab that. The other name was Amazon. We talked about 185 short. And yeah, that hit right there. That was brought to our attention. I don't know if it was Ponzi or somebody in the chat said that but they had brought it. Thanks for bringing it to my attention. But you had brought it down here. You said, "Oh man, missed Amazon," and we did. We had missed it. I wrote down 185.50, so that's where I was sitting at 185.50. There's so many times I look back and said, "Why didn't I just wait for that level?" So we did that again, and probably a mistake as 185 winds up holding right there. Meta, I mean, the stock that we have, the big one, shout out to Pro Day Trader. Thank you for your kind words there in the chat as well. Congratulations on your trading. But Meta, look at this VWAP, man. Brian Shannon, my good friend. Boom, boom. Held it twice there. I just hope you guys have a great rest of your day. You're going to go over to Adara and Sharif in just a couple minutes where they do Learn to Trade. I guess it's still Elliott Waves or last day there for Elliott Wave Theory. So if you are interested in that, which I should be paying attention to for sure, that's going to be coming out right now in just a matter of 30 seconds.
And then Tammy Aftermarket knows all about Elliott Waves as well.
Yeah, from Elliott Wave Trader there, Tammy Marshall. That's why I was saying we could have had her on the midday there.
Yeah, that would have maybe the next time you talk a topic that fits her makes some sense. And when you do options, you get Danielle Shea on. I mean, fantastic guest there we can all learn from. It's all about just expanding your horizons, right? Like I use Fibonacci's back in the day. I've never dabbled in Elliott Waves, but you never really know what's going to work for you. And that's the idea. You can't know until you try it and test some new things out. And that's what it's all about. It just hit 11 o'clock. Tesla's not a VWAP. ARM might be breaking that trend out to the upside, so it could get in there. But let's get on over. We've got Sharif. We've got Adara. It is Learn to Trade some Elliott Wave.
Wave it up.
Yes. What is up, beautiful people? Happy Friday, everybody out there. Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as that Midday Show. That is your girl, Adara.